Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Bargain Bin, a show about speedrunning games all under $20. I'm your host, Midnight Vesper, and if you're new here, here's how this works. For more current/digital games, we'll be using digital stores such as Steam, GOG, itch.io, Ubisoft, Epic, etc. to look at the list price or MSRP price. For retro games, we'll be using an average of what is believed as the loose price of the game. We do not count any sales or discounts as they vary from time of purchase. Couple quick announcements real fast. Frame Fatale's game committee applications are in fact now open. You can go to gamesdonequick.com to apply. And speaking of Frame Fatales, they have also been selected as a finalist for the Game Her Awards. To learn more, you can just type in !vote in chat. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can watch us live here on Twitch at twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick. Or if you've missed out on any of the GDQ Hotfix shows, check out our archive of the past runs and shows at youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. Now, today we have an action-packed showcase, not just with the Bargain Bin, but also with speedruns from the crypt. So we have an amazing night. But first, here on the Bargain Bin, we got 3 great speedruns you don't want to miss, including a modern warpless run of Superliminal and an all Mulgers, no major glitchless alt run of Hyper Light Drifter. I think I mispronounced a word there. But first, kicking things off today is an any percent no level skip run of Battleblock Theater by Paul Lister. So when you're ready, Paul, take it away.
Oh, it's me. Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Lister, and this is Battleblock Theater. This is a lovely 2D puzzle platformer by the Behemoth, the folks behind Castle Crashers and Alien Hominid and Pit People, and hopefully more games in the future. Maybe Battleblock Theater 2, perhaps? I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas here. But yeah, it's a lovely little thing. We're going to be going through lots and lots of danger, dodging obstacles, jumping through platforms, trolling, and getting trolled by many, many cats through 8 chapters of lots and lots of fun. So that is going to be very amazing, and I hope you all enjoy it, as I will as well. So let's not waste any more time.
Little guy with all your favorite stuff.
We got this. We will begin this run in 3, 2. Oh, one more thing. We're going to be using these weapons here. They're going to be very instrumental throughout this run. So just look out for them. All will be explained very shortly. So for real this time, let's start this run in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, yeah, there we go. Go. The fake outs, they're real. All
Just a
right.
test.
Yep, always. Just kind of testing the reflexes of tech. Yeah. So, Battleblock Theater is very lovely, and yeah, you know who else is lovely? It's me. Nah. What a great segue. But yeah, I should probably talk a little bit more about myself before we get started with this run. It's a bit of a slow segment here, so we have some time. But yeah, I'm Paul Lister. I'm a Greek speedrunner, and I do speedruns of stuff like this, like 2D platformers, like Battleblock Theater, and a few more from indie game developers. So yeah, that is absolutely lovely. I'm also the lead organizer of another speedrunning event, like this one here, called the United Kingdom Speedrunner Gathering. We run events 4 times a year, and we would love to have you. We're still getting submissions in for like our next event, which is UKSG Winter 2022. So if you're in the UK, or maybe not in the UK, and you want to, another little outlet to submit your runs and get some perhaps races or your favorite speed runs in for, UKSG is there for you. So yeah. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the structure of this game, and particularly the category we're doing today, because the most astute of you will have already looked up the leaderboards for this game, and you will have seen there's an any percent of level skips, which is what we're doing today, and any percent. So, to understand what's going on, let's talk about how many stages there are and how they're divvied up. So, first and foremost, We have 8 chapters. This is the first one, and each chapter has 15 stages. We have 2 finale stages, which signify the end of the chapter. So once you play through them, you reach the end of the chapter, you get thrown out to the overworld, and you go to the next chapter. We then have 3 encore stages, which we don't do in any of the any % categories. Well, excluding O levels, but that's a speed run for another time, if you will. And most importantly, we have 1 secret stage. Ouch, I got bonked there. I got bonked again, but it's okay, we saved it. Yeah, so we have 1 secret stage and 9 regular stages. So for the purposes of any % no level skips, we're going to be doing the secret stage, the 9 regular stages, and the 2 finale stages in each chapter. Now, the exact wording of the category is to get a rank of C or above in the regular stages and the finales.
Don't quit your day job.
The way the secret stage comes in will be explained in just a moment. We'll get to it. But for now, let's just relax and, you know, have a look-see here at what is going on with the rest of this, the movement and the cats, and what just happened there, essentially. So these weapons, as I mentioned, they do indeed come in handy. How? Well, this force ball, the electric ball that explodes and pushes you places, is good for propelling us to, like, big distances, like up high walls or through large gaps if we have, like, ice underneath it. Depending on where you stand and how far from a wall you stand and, like, where you fire the force ball really determines how far you go. So, for example, here, we're going to be doing a frame-perfect boost. First try, like so. Basically, I had to fire the force ball on the exact next frame from the one I made my jump input. Failing that, if I were to do it too early, the force ball would never come out. And if I did it too late, ouch, I forgot to switch weapons. Come on. Thank you. Yeah, if you do it too late, you get boosted downwards, and more often than not, that leads to your demise, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so the other weapon we have is a frog, and that is more often than not used as a stepping stone. So if there's like a large moat, you can throw a frog down and go, boop, boop, and you're through. Now, with that being said, here's the secret stage, and here's where this rule of regular stages and finales must have a rank of 0 or above get bent a little bit. And the way it works is pretty simple. We're gonna enter the stage, hit the secret, and then I'm gonna go to my mouse and instantly menu out of it. That gives a C rank to the regular stage that this secret is hidden within. Why does it happen? We don't know, but it's good enough for the speedrun, so that's exactly what we're gonna be using here. First, we're gonna forget to switch our weapons again. I promise I am good at this game. But yeah, it's an important point that weapon management is paramount when it comes to this run. So basically, you need to make sure at any given point in time you know exactly what weapon you're on, so you don't have to, you know, find yourself in front of a moat and you're suddenly firing the force ball. But yeah, gotta be dodging some of these lasers, go through this plunger, avoid that gem, because we only need 3 gems to reach the exit of the stage. And that is like the bare minimum, hence any %. If you get a 4th gem in that results screen over there, you get an extra stamp, and that is about 0.3 of a second slower. So yes, it is important to get 3 gems and not no more than 3 gems, even if it means, you know, kind of going a little bit out of your way. So let me try this boost here. Perfectly done. Through the left wall. Basically, every time we need to go a certain direction and there's a lava block that can take us there that little bit faster, we try to boost ourselves in these lava blocks like I just did. Then we're gonna hug this corner and boost upwards after we clear the path a little bit. Avoid this laser just barely, and then boost through this section while going right through the path of another gem to hit the exit. Simple as can be. So yeah, that is the end of the first, well, not quite the end of the first chapter, but we're done with the regular stages of this chapter. And we're now entering the finale. The finale here in this case. is a timed challenge. There is a countdown timer that is ticking against you. Thankfully, though, if you hit a checkpoint, it does get extended by like 10 seconds. So, newcomers will want to hit as many of those checkpoints as they can get their hands on. I'm a speedrunner. I don't need that. Unless something goes terribly, horribly wrong and I just throw my controller across the room or something. That's the only instance where someone like me would run out of time. Well, that, and there's also the finale one of Chapter 7. We'll get to that. There's plenty of run to be had before there. But yeah, Finale 1, same as all the regular stages, get 3 gems, hit the exit. Finale 2, not the same requirement, actually. Actually, you just need to get to the end, because at the end, there's a key, and there's no gem requirement for the key. You just get there, hit the key, and that's it. I'm gonna bonk on the ceiling there because that laser blocked my path. I was basically stalling for time until it was out of my general area. And there's the key, and that's the end of Chapter 1. 1 down, 8 to go. Every single one of which is harder than what you just saw. But it's fine. In 1 hour, 25 minutes, of which 8 we have already expended, it's all gonna go fine. Don't worry about it. I practiced. I promise.
You sure know how to make the best of a confusing and hopeless
Oh boy,
situation.
that cutscene's loud.
It's quite the...
Yeah. Yeah, the cutscenes are just a touch louder than the rest of the game. I apologize in advance.
I sure hope you find
But yeah,
gems.
so now we're on to Chapter 2. Getting good at this is getting good at this is luckier than it is skillful more often than not. There's an element of RNG at play in every corner. So for example, here, well, that's not RNG exactly, that's just me not landing right on the force ball. But entering and exiting this portal is RNG. I got the good exit, which launched me all the way forward. These cannons, the direction in which they start firing first, that's RNG. There's also some more hazards along the way. We'll find those out, and I'll point out as we get through it exactly where the RNG plays in. But usually, if something is cycle-based, that's usually one circular saw moving in and out of a button. And in those cases, it kind of depends on like where they start and in which direction they go. And that direction in which they start moving, that is RNG. So yeah. So now I'm gonna go over here, get stuck up there, and then enter this hidden portal into the second secret of the run. Right, so one thing that you will see me try to do a lot during this run is to actually hit the pause button exactly on the same frame we hit the trigger for the transition to the secret, because then the menu happens, but also the transition happens without pausing. So we can then proceed to menu out of the stage that little bit faster. It's like a second, and it's at this point just negligible for most people, but you know, it's cool when you get it. I've never been able to like consistently get it, so if I were to get one here, that would be very nice. Yeah, just gonna boost a few more times. And yeah, we're just gonna proceed onwards through this stage. One thing I didn't mention this entire time is a little bit about the story. If you were perplexed about the plot of Battleblock Theater, I got you covered. So essentially, the way it goes is you are part of a ship of friends, many friends, one and all. And the biggest, best friend of all is Hattie Hattington, wears a great suit, has a nice cubicle head, and is perhaps the nicest person to ever nice. And so, yeah, you are basically on your ship one day and you're cruising across the oceans when suddenly a big storm hits. It throws people over. It causes mass panic. A guy in a monocle goes, "I say, gentlemen, I do believe we can find a spot of a bother." I mean, obviously, we're in a spot of bother. And yeah, lots of people get toppled over, and it kind of quiets down a little bit. And then it goes psych, and it goes again. And then it just crash lands into an abandoned island with a theater that's been overrun by cats. And your friend Hattie is abducted. And an evil, menacing, glowing hat is put on his head. And suddenly he is whisked away, never to be seen again. Unfortunately, I have some spoilers for that, but I'm not gonna say them. We'll just get to the end of the run and you will see for yourself. But yeah, it is our quest to navigate this theater as prisoners and performers. And rescue our dearest friend Hattie Hattington from the clutches of these evil felines. So yeah.
I appreciate the name Hattie Hattington.
Hattie Hattington, yes. And when the hat is put on, yeah, that's, by the way, that's him on the right. That's Hattie. And it's even more fitting when it's like, when the hat is actually on the head. Because in the opening cutscene, it's not. So, I guess you could say his purpose was fulfilled, and he could then perish.
Give it a kiss and put it someplace safe.
But yeah, so far so good with this run. A few hiccups here and there, but nothing to write home about or to be sad over. Oh, I tried to get a little nice boost through all of these woolly blocks, but honestly, that didn't work out. But it's okay. So, yeah.
Keep working at it.
Just kind of gonna continue here. This next stage, I have it in my splits. There's a note here going, RNG, please. There are two elements here that are RNG and can derail a run. Here's the first one. Okay, that laser was nice. Sometimes, if you just do like walk perfectly to the right and boost, that laser can hit you and snipe you and kill you. That's not good. So yeah, that's why that's the first RNG element. The second RNG element you can see on the left here. We're gonna boost through it, and it's gonna be very nice today. These cats that are firing ice blocks, again, one of those can snipe you, and you can just freeze in place for a while. It doesn't kill you, but you're just like, you're stuck. And it's like, let me go. Let me go to where I need to be.
I mean, that's
Okay,
kind of
and
what ice does, though, you know.
Yeah. Just kind of
Yeah.
holds you in place. What are you gonna do? All right, gonna get boosted by the lava block into the corner so we can boost again. You start to see patterns with these speed techs the more you play this game. But yeah, this is speedrunner bread and butter until we get to chapter 7, in which case things are gonna start getting chaotic. I can't wait for you to see it. It's gonna be
I can't wait.
exciting. Well, if I can do it right, that's gonna be even better. But let's get there
That's
first.
what you get.
We'll figure out the rest. But yeah, okay. So we're gonna boost up here, and now this stage is relatively risky because the checkpoint I'm about to hit, well, not this one, the one after. Let me try this boost. Nice. I'm gonna hit this checkpoint just for the sake of safety. Not that it's gonna save me any time if I die from here on out, but you know, I like to feel good about myself. So yeah, I'm gonna do this, which has an explanation in and of itself. But essentially, the way it works is you get a double jump every time until you land again, in which case you replenish the double jump. That's cool, right? Well, what if I told you that if the recoil from this force ball replenishes those double jumps? So with one well-timed force ball recoil, you can get a quadruple jump.
Oh,
This is
wow.
perhaps, yeah. This is perhaps the only time this is useful, but
Time to lose.
you know, it's pretty neat, and it's very nice to showcase to people. Going, hey, you can now make 4 jumps instead of 2. Tired of using 2 jumps? Try 4. Easy, right?
Double your jumps.
Yeah, just double the amount of jumps you have, and then do it again. Okay, I'm gonna dodge these cats. And they're gonna meet their own demise. I'm hopefully gonna be able to do this. Oh yes, surprisingly I'm able to. And now we're gonna experience, hopefully, if I do this right, the first clip of the run. Oh, it did not happen, so I'm gonna try it one more time. Thankfully, if you die... Oh yeah, I'm sure I do. There we go, placed right, and then... There it is, and boom! We're through the wall. That saves 5 seconds, and we lost.
Nice.
That was an interesting boost there. Fellow Battleblock Theater community, do take note of that. That was pretty interesting. But yeah, that was a nice little clip through the wall. Skips like 5 seconds if you do like first try. So that's pretty good. Yeah, and the thing I was trying to do there, like right at the end, was trying to do.
Bullet so far. You don't even complain about the prison food, which is shocking because
Yes. And the announcer was going to talk about, the foodstuffs of this prison. But yeah, I was trying to do like a little Omega boost just to save a little extra time from like waiting for these mind blocks to explode and then dropping down to get boosted back up. So that's like a second saved right there. So there we go. We're now going to be taking on this stage, grabbing that gem up there because the gem routing is relatively tight. We're going to be doing an Omega Boost there, then going over here, try another Omega Boost. It worked. Okay, I've been scarily consistent with my Omega Boosts today, despite the fact that they're, as I mentioned, frame perfect tricks. So,
really?
I guess we're going to have to live with that. And hope I haven't jinxed myself by saying that. So yeah, we're gonna throw another frog here, and then platform through these sections. What I did there, I like to call a block tap. Essentially, roughly on the same frame that I press the jump button, I also press the grab button, which is right trigger. And the way that works is... Ouch. I got hit by the laser there. But yeah, if I do that just right, I should probably stop trying to do that boost. But yeah. Okay, let's do away with this cat. And yeah, once, if I can do that just right, then the bridge disappears, even though the block is still on like the sensor that kind of activates it in the first place. So we can just... just kind of make these bridges disappear for just a little bit, just enough to drop down and move on to the next section. We're going to be doing this a few more times, so try and catch up. Now onto this stage, we're going to boost up here, then dodge this laser, and then try to push this boat by hitting its side just right, like I did, and then pushing it off the edge so we can get through.
You can do it. So do it.
And I believe that section right there is a bit of a testament to just how flexible Battleblock Theater routing really can be, because there's another strat there that involves using the frog just as a stepping stone instead of like... brain. Come on. Yes, you got this. Yeah, so they use a frog to just skip that entire moat. And yeah, it's a little bit on the precise side. I haven't learned it, but I'm sure that other people will tell you, oh yeah, just frog it. Easy.
Then find the door
Just do
and
that.
you can unlock it.
So for certain tricks, you have alternate routes, especially for like marathon or something along those lines. That way, yeah.
More or less. That section right there that I just had, there were 3 cannons. Please go away, cat. Thank you. There were 3 cannons, and they can very easily snipe you if you go perfectly upwards. But sometimes they don't, and that's a big RNG element of that, and you can lose upwards of like 20 seconds in that section, which is,
Quit your day job.
quite something.
Wow.
You know, like 3 chapters in, and suddenly, through no fault of your own, 20 seconds gone, and there's nothing you can do. But yeah, to get back to that point about the alternate routings, basically there was another gem in one of those sections where I disabled some fans and then ducked under them to get a gem. There's another gem like further up, but essentially it is guarded by a laser whose cycle is RNG and oftentimes unknown. So some runners, myself included in like earlier runs where I didn't quite care about my pace and I could just go for it, would just boost blindly into that section and hope that nothing would hit them. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. And so that's why I opted for the safe strat there.
Sometimes it's always good, especially at like a GDQ or a marathon, to kind of go with that safe strat because it's a little bit safer. Whereas sometimes it's like risky strats, you can run the risk of having a situation where you're stuck somewhere for a long time.
Oh yeah, that is. As I mentioned, that's Chapter 7, Finale 1. That is, yeah. I will explain everything when we get there. I'll tell you right now. But yeah, it's in general, you will see there's like a certain philosophy to Chapter 7 stages, and we're gonna be taking that philosophy, admiring it for like a femtosecond, and then throwing it out the window. Any chance we get, that is.
Careful not to miss anything this time.
So yes, that is absolutely lovely. We continue on to this here stage, which I don't recall. I think once I see it, I'll tell you what it's like. All right. It's a good opportunity to show you one of the lesser, impactful ways RNG can be applied in this game. We're approaching a section here. There's these moving blocks that we have to go through. These blocks that look a bit wooden. They move at random. The interval between their movements is random, but it's like one block at a time. And it's yeah, they pick a direction at random and they just go. And so those, in conjunction with the 3 lasers, can lend themselves to some funny moments, like one of my practice runs earlier today, in which I was sure I had done it. I was like, yeah, I'm there. Ouch.
Goodness gracious.
Go. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna make it through this section fine, and there's nothing that's gonna stop me. And then one of the blocks, perhaps the only block that was blocking... Hang on. The only block that was blocking one of the lasers moved out of the way exactly as I was going through it, and exactly as the laser was firing. So, yeah, I did not make it through on that try.
I did see a question in chat that asked if you were using controller or keyboard mouse.
Keyboard, no, controller. Sorry, I misspoke.
Can you do both?
Yeah.
Is it possible to do both in this one for the run?
I guess you can. Don't see the reason why you would do that. If you're comfortable with one system, no need to do 2. Though I will say I do use the mouse quite a bit, especially when it comes to menuing. If I don't hit those like frame perfect pauses on the transitions to the secret, like I just did. Oh my god!
Nice.
Insane. And yeah, that just saves a second essentially. Yeah, usually if I don't hit that frame perfect pause, I'll just use the mouse to menu out because it's a smidge faster.
At the best time,
And I have a funny story about that, actually. So any percent I mentioned is another category of this game, where for every set of 3 stages, we menu out of the first 2, which kind of makes it a slightly, not nice category. It's not very fun to play, because like most of it is just menuing. Oh, there we go. That's nice. That's a skip that's not supposed to happen, but we just skipped that puzzle. But yeah, so essentially you're menuing out through like half of the stages that we're going to be playing in a category like no level skips. So Yeah, I used to have a Lenovo Yoga. And if you don't recall what a Lenovo Yoga is, it's one of those like touchscreen laptops that also folds like back in on itself to become a tablet. And so one thing that I did in one of my old any percent runs was run exclusively on the tablet because I could very easily and much more quickly, after debating this cat, yes, that's a verb now, I could very easily just gonna go tap, tap, and just be out of the stage that I needed to menu out of. So that was like a second or two at a time saved just by like menuing that tiny bit faster by going tap, tap. So yeah, if you want to play Battleblock Theater, get a touchscreen laptop. Or don't. I don't know, I'm not your dad.
That's an interesting mechanic, though, because I always hear people who say use keyboard and controller at the same time, or mouse and controller at the same time. I've not heard use touchpad and controller and keyboard at the same time.
A touch screen, like, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's quite something. I can tell you that much. It's an experience being at like my dad's village with like a laptop that can barely run OBS, let alone the game, and just being at like 37 degrees Celsius, which I leave that as an exercise to the viewer to translate to Fahrenheit, and just like sweating and just, you know, having to go, yep, I'm playing, tap, 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 tap. Okay, now stage, and then tap, 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 tap. Kind of like that. Oops.
Have you ever tapped and accidentally closed out the game?
Well, no, because the exit game button actually takes you back to the main menu, so that would just kill the run. Which is, I guess it's equivalent to, you know, just exiting out from the game.
Yeah.
But like the reset time period is that little bit less, I guess. Yeah, it's okay, I got sniped by that boomerang. Let's hope that this time I'm gonna be able to duck under it like that. Normally you're supposed to like go up above it and get a boulder and literally crush the cat to death. But nah, we're not gonna do that. Also, look at me running against the treadmill and just barely not falling off each time. Like moonwalking at the edge of the edge of the treadmill.
Lots of room for improvement.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of room.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of taking some quick glances at chat, but I'm leaving the question asking to you, Midnight.
Yes, of course, yes.
Yeah. I see a lot of familiar names from the community, like Oh Hey and Game Guy, who are very helpful in contextualizing a lot of things, which are important to the leaderboards. For example, we have this official/unofficial category called True 80%. And it kind of plays on just the quirk of how save data is handled for Battleblock Theater. Essentially, there is no clean way to wipe your save and just reset all of your data and start afresh and do like an NG playthrough. So once after your first playthrough, like that's it. That's done. Everything's unlocked and you cannot relock it. So True 80% kind of plays on that, and we basically say, so, ouch, ooh. There we go. Another little physics quirk there, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, basically, since we already have access to Chapter 8, why not just go to Chapter 8? Go there.
Yeah.
Finish it.
If you got it, yeah.
Yeah, no reason to go to like Chapter 1 through 7. It's like the end is there. Go. Save Hattie. Like you have it already. Like at least how many? like 150 times. I'm gonna switch weapons here because I think I'm on the right one. Yeah, there we go. Weapon management, as I mentioned, importante. So yeah, we're gonna dodge these cats, and then we're gonna talk about a thing that happened not that long ago. I got set on fire, and here's another important life lesson brought to you by our friends here at the Battleblock Theater. Are you set on fire? No worries. You know, just jump in a pool of water. It'll extinguish the fire, and you will be boosted upwards. Everybody wants to get boosted upwards nowadays now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Being boosted up is fun, yeah.
Good for you and your bee.
Yeah, that is actually like really helpful in some stages, as we will see relatively soon. I'm gonna do a little quirky thing here, which replenished our jumps once again. And to explain that, I need to talk about how collision is handled with hazards in this game, particularly spikes. I just switched the weapon incorrectly. I shouldn't have switched. There we go. So essentially, when it comes to spikes, especially spikes that are like pointing upwards, there's like 1 pixel leeway on either side that you can actually stand on and not die from the spikes, not be considered like dead. And as you saw there with the way the thing I did, like I dropped the frog, stepped on it, and then double jumped, looked like I was standing on the spike, and then dodged it. Let me just mash real quick to get into the secret. But yeah, just kind of like dodging those spikes and then replenishing my jumps. We do that a lot. You'll see it a lot towards the later stages of this run.
I sure hope you find gems.
So yeah, that is another little quirk. And I think buzzsaws, I don't know if we've seen them already, but buzzsaws are also pretty good at doing exactly that. Having that little pixel of leeway. Though I'm sure Game Guy will be the one to correct me on this, because he is the one that actually uses that pixel of leeway in any particular occasion. And then actually, since we have hit the 30-minute mark, the all important, let's talk a little bit about the community. Let's talk about some of the people in the community, particularly shout out Game Guy SD. Those of you that have seen Red Bull speedrunning videos might ring a bell here with the name. Game Guy was the person that found out one of like the ultra fast strats on Red Bull, and so they kind of like were shouted out in one of the speedrun historian-ish. I don't know if that's a genre of video, but kind of like that. One of those videos. But yeah, they were basically admin of the Battleblock Theater Discord, which is a very nice place to be in. There's lots of memes, or at least we try to make lots of memes. And they're just the admin, and they're also, you know, no big deal, the world record holder of this run. And I just got trolled by that cat. No big deal. Again.
No big deal.
Yeah, and this time I played myself. There's a difference there. But yeah, you're supposed to like throw that boulder into the moat and then just jump through. Anyway, but yeah, Game Guy, world record holder, absolute god at this game. I had a practice run earlier. In one of the later stages, I golded by 3 seconds, and it looked fast. It looked really fast. And even Game Guy was like, whoa, that's so good. Like, what's your gold now? And it's like, oh, we're gonna compare it. I'm gonna bring out mine. And so I finish the run. I go to my splits. I bring out the time. 1 minute, 2 seconds, 0.95. Pretty good, I think. Yeah, it's like
that's a
one of the last stages. Yeah, pretty good gold for a stage. Right?
Yeah.
Before I can copy paste it into the chat, Game Guy already has put up his gold, and it's 57 seconds. So yeah, when you think you're fast, Game Guy's faster. And for good reason, he's the world record holder. The world record, of course, standing at 1 hour, 14 minutes flat, with second place just barely pretty close at 1 minute, 1 hour 16. Very close, always. So yeah, Game Guy is pretty good at what he's doing. All right, I'm gonna. Oh, nice. All right, what was that?
It's like a really good community. Like when I get involved with the Battleblock Theater Discord, it's always seems like a really good community when I'm in there.
It's pretty cozy, especially some of the the veterans of the community. I guess the word is, yeah. Usually we're very helpful. We try to like guide people through the game because it's a hard game. Like any percent of level skips, that's 88 little morsels of like routing and boosts and like optimizations that you have to like.
Take my dainty hand as I whisk you back to a time long forgotten, long before the
There we go. Thank you, Snapper. But yeah, it's we try to be really helpful. We try to like help people with like tutorials and whatnot. So that's what we usually try to do. If like there's a new runner, like for example, we had a runner called Schnool join us not that long ago actually. Their first time was the apparently the slowest ever time on the leaderboards, about 4 hours, and now they are sitting pretty with like a 1 hour 20 something minute time, which is
what was that time again?
So, 1 hour 20 something, over 1 hour 25, definitely.
I was hoping for the,
It's 1 hour 20.
Hey, yeah.
So yeah, it is. Schnool picked up everything very quickly, and actually got some really nice times all around. And so yeah, this is the call to action. If he can do it, so can you.
I did see someone in chat like saying that where you're at, like they would have died hundreds of times already, and I feel like I would be in that same boat as well, only because this seems like one of those games where I watch a speedrun and I'm like, oh, that seems like a really good speedrun, and then I try learning it and I just get in that zone where you just over and over and over and over just can't get past the barrier.
Yeah. I mean, they say they would have died hundreds of times there. I did. Like, that's why I'm here today. It's because I have died hundreds of times on those spots. I've reached the point where every hazard you can think of I have died to. And even the ones you don't really expect, because I have a knack for doing that. Just dying at the most unexpected spots. Like right there, for example. I just really did not read that bridge cycle correctly at all. So that's why we are here doing it again. But yeah, we are a very welcoming community. We try to populate our leaderboards with some guides on a few individual stages. I've made a few tutorials myself on a route that I use fairly often. But yeah, people can just at the same time like watch the world record or any of the other like high tier runs for some decent strats. And if they have any sort of questions, they can just come to the Discord and like ask like, oh, how do I do this? Like, how do I clear this gap, or how do I do that? And usually we try to either like guide them through it or like go to their stream if they're streaming and just go step by step, like, oh, you jumped too early here or you jumped too late and stuff like that. So yeah, because Battleblock Theater is a hard game. And it's even harder to learn because it's just like jam-packed with tech. So don't let the 1 hour 25 minute estimate fool you. This is how many years now? Oh boy, been at it for 4 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, on and off mostly, but like the total useful time I've spent in this game is about a year and a few months. But yeah, it takes effort. So if somebody wants like a long-term speedrun project, I would definitely point this way because it's like, you know, it's like that. All right, so just one moment. Okay, I didn't get that. I will try it again. It's a really rough strat. There's really no easy way to explain it. I just gotta platform correctly. It didn't work out, so I'm just gonna take the backup strat, which is hitting that checkpoint. But ideally, the reason why I'm trying to hit that lava block on the top right is because I'm trying to skip that checkpoint, like I just did that one. Which is another piece of speed tech that we're gonna start seeing here, because essentially, we come to the realization that in some occasions, oops, there we go, switch back to frog here. On some occasions, you don't have to actually go through the entire stage if the only thing you need is like 3 gems. You can just go, get the 3 gems, and if the start is close to the finish, don't get any of the checkpoints. And so when you're done with the 3 checkpoints, die, go back to the start, hit the exit. We're gonna be seeing that a lot towards the tail end of the run, so just kind of keep an eye out. In general, like, we start going more and more advanced as we go along, and we start to see some interesting patterns forming. For example, as you will see in this stage, we have this alternating pattern of platforms that keep going on and off and on and off and on and off. That's a buzzsaw going left and right and hitting the blue and the green button. And it's as simple as that.
Good thing that's over.
Yeah. No fancy schmancy gimmicks, just a thing going left, right, left, right. Uh-oh, uh-oh,
Uh-oh.
that green block saved me. Basically, you want to be able to clear that blue wall before the rockets start kind of like turning around and homing in on you. So yeah, I was ready to just go like, uh-oh, uh-oh,
I sure
uh-oh.
hope you find gems.
That never happened before. But no, thankfully we saved.
Nice save. Nice save.
Yes, yes, thank you. All right, let me just, oh, that was the wrong weapon to have. I was hoping to get like a force ball boost there, but that's fine. Gonna take the frog and boost anyway. As we continue on. Now, this stage, at the end here, there's this section I call affectionately, of course, Hell Room. Or Heck Room. These cats are partially the reason why. Oh, yes! And that was a good Heck Room. Basically, I am counting on that cat to continue jumping upwards in midair so that I can stand on it and have like enough leeway to jump up into the cloud and into the finish. Otherwise, I have to deal with the homing rocket robot. Yay!
That does not sound like a fun time.
No, it is not. Honestly, that rocket robot is OP, and if you don't know what you're doing around it, it's not gonna be fun. Yeah. He said, making the face of 1,000 pains, as I like to call it, for lack of a better word. As we go into this next secret, which is right there. Gonna menu out of it once again. Some very fun secrets here, all around essentially, which kind of
will set you free.
have basically secret stages. They don't really have any sort of big challenge to them.
See all that? Good luck with
It's
that.
literally just. Here we go. Let me just maneuver this section here real quick. But yeah, it's like little fun challenges like, oh, what would happen if we just filled a room with lava blocks? Or what would happen if it's just like Jetpack Central? I don't know. And that's all the challenges.
Have you good?
Now,
I enjoy the face that the main character has just throughout this entire run. It's like that look of like sheer panic through everything.
oh yeah, that's the face I have selected ever since I started speedrunning this game, and I feel like it is fitting.
So you can
Very much
select
so.
different faces.
Oh yeah, it's like many different faces. There's like one with like a raccoon hat, and that's the one the game guy uses. Sorry, one second. I paused there for a second because I had to listen in for a certain audio cue. Just a laser firing, essentially. But yeah, one of our other community members, Chaos Edge, has a chicken head, seductive spatula. The two co-op runner, one of the two co-op runners, including Chaos, has a sausage head. And so yeah, there's like hundreds, I can imagine, of unlockable heads. And you unlock them by collecting gems throughout like this game. So there's like a shop in each chapter where you can just go in and just unlock faces. And that was my favorite one like eons ago. So I just kind of kept it.
Had you not said that, I just would have assumed that was the default because it feels like it just fits everything that's going on.
I think the default is actually like a circular head, but it's... One second, let me just skip this puzzle here real quick. But yeah, it's like a circular head with like some very like a line for a mouth and 2 dots for eyes. But yeah, I wouldn't know. I haven't played this game for the first time in eons. That's yeah, the downfall of just never being able to relock everything and just reset everything from the start. You kind of forget some of those like first experiences. Okay, so yeah, another community member, Buckley, saying the default is a random head, so you get one head at random from like the entire pool of them. So there it is. So yeah. Anyway, I was gonna say, yeah, I should probably talk about Buckley. Buckley, what a memester. Yeah. Cool dude. Recently actually got a sub 125 and got a pretty high position on the boards, which is very exciting. Also, aggressively, no, just memeing a whole lot. And so always fun to be around. That's why we always have like a point redemption in most Battleblock Theater streamers' channels to ban Buckley.
Perham's hat sure is a
No particular reason why.
It me so. It truly does. But where did it come?
Yes, Buckley, the hero of BBT. Amazing. So yeah, all right. As we've been chatting, like this entire game has been going through relatively smoothly. Not bad at all. Okay.
Seems like the cats have turned on Hattie McHattington.
Oh yeah. Hattie the Cattington, yes. All right. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah. Oh, here's another wall clip. And here's me using a frog to gonna skip these spikes, as you do. But yeah,
that was
Buckley.
a super clean, wall skip there.
Oh yeah, it's kind of hit or miss whether it works out. Actually, it's usually like the setup is just slide to the corner, and once you're at the corner, boost and just hold in the direction of where the wall is. More often than not, it works. Sometimes though, it gets annoying. It does not let you through at all. And so you can go like 10 times not clipping through, essentially losing all the time you would have saved anyway. Just to like failing to do the clip. So yeah, that's always fun. So here's another hell room at the end of this stage, and this one in particular is called Cat Hell. And for reasons that I will not mention, I don't think I need to mention them, and it will become abundantly obvious very soon if I mess up this jump. I didn't. So yeah, basically, if you mess up this jump, you get knocked down, and there's 4, 5, maybe more cats, just kind of like cornering you in like a little corner and just bonking you over and over, which is not fun and wastes a lot of time just trying to go like, yo,
Trust me,
get
you'll
out of
be
here.
fine, so long as you
Skedaddle.
find gems and don't die. Good luck.
Okay, and now we have the first of a few chase sequences, which we're gonna cheese and clip through the wall, as you do. Just when the buzzsaw thinks it has us cornered, we go psych, and we clip through the wall. So we're gonna do another little risky strat. I'm gonna do something, try and do something flashy here. I'm gonna stand on this light bridge. Ah, okay, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Ah, okay. Wasn't quite set up just right. So I'm gonna hit this light bridge again. Gonna disable all of these lasers. And that's, oh, that didn't work. Okay. One more try. There we go. That's how you're supposed to do that first try.
First try, yeah.
It's first try every time. Every try is
Yeah.
first try.
Yeah.
If you tell people, hey, look over there, long enough.
For improvement. Lots and lots of room.
All right, and then we go. Oops, let's get this boulder. Now what I'm doing with this boulder is a little technique called a double boulder throw. Basically, the amount of control you have over your character in this game is pretty good, actually. And you can do a lot of things that you normally wouldn't be able to do. So, for example, you can throw a boulder, you can jump up towards the boulder, you can grab the boulder in midair and throw it again in midair. You can also die to that buzzsaw. That's fun. It's gonna stand on this little woolly block, or Ferdinand as it's called. And then we go like this, double spike jump. There we go. That particular stage, actually, if you do the initial section until the two Ferdinands come along, if you do that perfectly until there, there's a cycle that is actually near perfect. So you get like the first Ferdinand, you reach the midway point, and that's exactly when the second Ferdinand is coming along. So yeah, you can kind of save a lot of time just by being there on time.
Don't fall in that liquidy stuff.
So now, onto this stage, gonna get up this bridge. Oh wait, gonna do another little spike jump right there, and then drop down. Very nice. Keep going.
Oh, you're so good. Give yourself a round of applause. You found it, Jen. That was
And then,
just
oops,
sitting there.
okay. Try an Omega Boost, fail, die, and then try it again. There we go, there's go. First try, every time. Every try is first try. When you're at GDQ, every try is first try.
I like that. I like that.
Here's your painted card.
It's a lovely motto to live by. It's fine. Don't worry about it. All right, on to, oh yeah.
I would love
No,
to
I was
tell
going to
you where
say,
they put the
so
gems, but I'm
you
not
said
gonna.
kind of before we were chatting that you are going in school for some sort of like game design, correct?
Yes, the exact name is Creative Media Game Technologies, but you can call it game design or game dev or what have you. That's,
Do playing games like this kind of help inspire you to create in that kind of mindset, or is it just more like you pick these games like 'cause they're entertaining and maybe they evolve into something like that, or off the wall completely?
it's kind of like a reciprocal relationship. Like, kind of like playing games motivates me to make games, and making games motivates me to play games. So it's, yeah, it's a little bit of both, honestly. So it wouldn't be,
Up that team.
oh, yeah, golden hats. We'll get to those in a second, but first let me answer your question. Like, I would say that there's a lot of inspiration to create a game that is similar to, you know, platformers like Battleblock Theater or Superliminal Live or Love 2 Kuso, which is another game I speedrun. and just, you know, little platformers that are like just fun challenges and just, stuff like that. Now, as we get back into this game, I would like to thank the developers here because they have made some very lovely stages, which we are now going to proceed to cheese a lot. Okay, I'm just gonna let this guy take me, as I'm hoping to just kind of disable him a little bit. Just gonna, you know, disable this rocket to buy me enough time to set up here. Rocket guy is gonna turn around, fire a rocket, and then we're gonna go 1 and 2 and 3. We're gonna skip that. Gonna get the yarn, which is like an extra collectible of like every stage. There's only 1, as opposed to like gems, which can be anywhere from 3 to 7. Excuse me. But yeah, we click through the wall and we skip like 2/3 of the stage.
Nice.
Yeah. The stages are lovely. Don't get me wrong. I gotta skip them. It's kind of my job description almost. So yeah. No, the thing I was gonna mention earlier, and I put a pin on, is the golden hats. Golden hats, if you've played this game before, are an RNG element of this game, and any time in which you are playing more or less any game mode of Battleblock Theater, a golden hat can appear and can be collected for 10 gems. If you're a gem collector, I'm assuming that's gonna be like a field day where you're like, oh, golden hat, let's go, 10 free gems, yoink. For a speedrunner, there could not be a worse thing than just a random chance of a collectible pausing all gameplay and going, oh, look, I have a golden hat, come pick me up, 10 gems.
Oh, a time trial. And to make matters worse,
Because, yeah, that's like 4 seconds that I don't get to have because you paused the game and we're timing in RTA, so we can't, like, time these out. So yeah, basically, that's why you will see, perhaps on the leaderboards, a hat counter. That's essentially how many hats each run has. From what I recall, in a single speedrun of any % no level skips, the record for how many hats there are is 6. I hope nobody is the unfortunate soul to get 7, though I'll probably be corrected in chat in just a moment.
Skeleton. The skeleton cat in the background scared me.
like 7 hats. Ooh, okay, that's not good. Okay, let me in. Okay, good. All right, so essentially I just need to get that boulder on the button, come back. Anyway, what was that you just said earlier? I missed it.
The giant skeleton cat in the background was scary.
Oh yeah, they're harmless. Yeah. So yeah, after opening up the path and then just doing like one well-timed jump, go get the key. Welcome to Chapter 7. So the philosophies of Chapter 7 are 2. It will either send you through multiple branching
now it goes
paths.
without saying, but cats really don't like to be ignored. And my oh my, this.
Yes. Either sending you through many branching paths to unlock the exit, or make you go through the same level twice, sometimes maybe even 3 times, doing the exact same stuff each time, which is fun. So we speedrunners, we're trying to cheese that as much as humanly possible, and there's no better example than this first stage where we see all the gems on the right. Oops, okay, that's not gonna work. Let me try that again. Gonna fire a boomerang, it goes through the clouds, and we get 3 gems and we're out of here. There's a whole other stage going on there, like, you gotta bring out boulders to get back and unlock it? Just get a frog, get a boomerang.
I try and I try and
Colby.
I try. C is bad,
You're there.
A is good. Why won't you listen?
That works.
Yeah, if it works, why go any other way?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And the cheesing continues on this stage. We literally boost up to get two gems without any checkpoints, and then to come back down here. The exit is to the left of us. We're gonna switch to the paper plane, and I'm going to explain what's going on in just a moment. If I can set it up right, there we go. Like so. So, that is a paper plane. An infinite paper plane. Normally, if you fire any other weapon when a paper plane is out, then the paper plane will explode, go away. It thinks you don't need it anymore and just leaves. But we do need it, and we need it to stay. So what we do is, the moment we fire a weapon, before it leaves our body, we actually go out into our loadout and we switch to the paper plane. And so that, as part of a little exploit, gives the paper plane infinite lifespan. We're gonna see this again in just a moment, like right here. I have paper plane equipped. Gonna swap around to it and back into it. That gives it infinite lifespan. Gonna fire a second one and then jump over that checkpoint. This is the only way you can jump over that checkpoint in any way, and we skip an entire lap around this stage. It's like a minute saved just by not having to do this again. What we just did. Yeah. I know, right? Like, you hit that checkpoint and you can't go back down to like the last one to like hit the exit. Like, you have to like unlock the rest of the stage and make the second loop that much harder for yourself.
Find the gems.
We're not about that
Your
life.
pockets, then find the door and you
So
can
we
unlock
just
it.
cheese it like that. And so we use the infinite paper plane for that express purpose. So yeah, let's just go through here, get that second gem. Again, literally only here to get 3 gems and hit the exit. That's the entire purpose of our run. It's like so many paths to take. Nah, just take the bottom path, get the 3 gems, go back, hit the exit with a frog.
I remember a time when I was proud of you. Now I'm not. It's funny how that works.
What's the big deal? Yeah.
Chat's just loving this right now.
I'm sure they are. And wait till you see this one. Basically, I'm going to be doing this entire stage without weapons. Not because it's a challenge and I'm challenging myself to this. It's because they're not really necessary for the most part. But what I do need to do is skip every single checkpoint. All of them. Including the last one, which is coming up right here. Like so. That double jump is harder than it seems, and lots of people kind of don't really time it right, and they hit it, and they have to do like the entire thing all over again. But, you know, I can just go like tap, tap, and I'm up and over.
Just like on your Lenovo. Tap, tap.
Oh yeah, exactly, actually. More or less. Oops, that's not the right weapon. That is also not the right weapon. Hang on. I forgot to menu back into my force ball. There we go. Let's just set up again, and bingo, another wall click. Classy. So yeah, let's get another frog to hit this section to unlock the secret that is hidden in this stage. Jump over this buzzsaw, go up here, and there's the secret.
Nice. I also just love how you threw I just love how you threw a paper plane at a saw.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, if all else fails, you know.
Trust me, you'll be fine. So
Go!
find the
Paper
gems
plane!
and Don't die. Good luck.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, hardest stage in the run. Focus. Quiet time. Oh my god, that was so hard. So difficult. Goodness gravy.
Wow.
Yeah. Nah, that was literally frog work to get the gems, frog work to get out. The same way you can get out and submit to UKSG Winter 2022. Man, these segues are just high quality today.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Out of 10. Exactly. So, yeah, just as a reminder, like, yeah, UKSG, lovely event held in the UK, in Glasgow specifically, when it's on site, when it goes back to being on site. For now, we're just online for the foreseeable future. So if you're anywhere in the world, really, and you want to, you know, another event to submit your runs to, there you go. UKSG. Yeah. Come on. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah. So as you might have noticed already, I'm trying to skip these checkpoints as well, hopefully with actual success. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump through these slime blocks and then hit this unlocking thing, which unlocks the exit. We already have 3 gems, so we just need to hit the exit. And that's that. That is it. Again, trying to skip as many laps around these levels as possible, just by like warping back to the start. This one, I have labeled it in my splits as strange because it doesn't quite follow either of those philosophies. There's not exactly many branching paths here. It's not that complicated. Oops, okay. But we do have to go up here, skip this checkpoint while getting that gem, avoid this boomerang, fail at avoiding this boomerang, try again. So just, you know, platform up here once again, skip that checkpoint, actually avoid the boomerang this time, uppercut the cat into that button, and then warp back to the last checkpoint. Drop down here, get this boulder, which unlocks the other set of blocks. We unlocked the green ones previously by uppercutting the cat. We now unlocked the white ones. The piggy is already down there. So we're gonna call it over as we get the bridge in, and then it drops down into the finish, just like that. All right, so yeah. And now, here comes 7 Finale 1. I have 30 seconds of time save on this. Oops, sorry. I paused accidentally. And you will see why in just a moment. Hopefully I get the actual skip right.
Just run like you have diarrhea.
So let's go. We're gonna start by going to the left path. Oh wait, no, it's the right path, sorry. So let's just go over here. We're gonna get sniped by that grenade. Now that left path, I only needed to get it for like the, essentially for that 1 gem it provides. I'm just gonna jump up here, dodge this grenade, drop down onto the right, and then jump up there, and then get these wings and this boulder, which I will now jam on this wall, along with this boulder, which was just in my way. And so now all of these boulders are now hung up on the one, well, that's not the word, like caught up on the one that I jammed on the wall. So now they just kind of like keep stacking up as they fly through these portals, which are also RNG, by the way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna smash until I get to the exit, which wasn't unlocked previously, until I warped to it through all of these portals. Normally you have to go through like another half of this stage to like get everything and like unlock the exit, but just kind of, you know, just warp to it. Easy. Oh, all right, yeah, I couldn't react fast enough to that one. Oh, all right. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So let's just go this way. Avoid this grenade. There's a few more grenades. We're just gonna wait until the wave clears, and then we're just gonna go here. There's a consistent setup for luring the pig to the right button, which unlocks the exit and the key to Chapter 7.
Well done, I think.
All right, that was, yeah, that was not bad actually. That was a pretty good Chapter 7. I think the important strats were showcased, so.
It was great. It was great to watch. I'll say that
I
much.
admire your tenacity. Truly, I do. For show.
Yeah,
But
I think-
things have really
yeah.
gotten out of control.
The first 3 stages were like the biggest you know, confusion, especially because they're the ones with the most involved weapons routing, because you actually have to like swap in and out of stuff. But Chapter 8 is more or less more of the same, just harder.
Sure hope you
So
find
it's like
gems.
force ball,
Not
frog,
bad.
boost, walk. Simple as that. So I've already swapped to frog from the interim. which we're going to use here immediately. I've already swapped a force ball for this boost here. We're going to be needing another once this cannon clears the path. And then swap the frog, let the Rackalope there take one step, and then we just hit the plunger. And then we fire one frog, and then we wait until we fire the second, because that is the perfect timing to actually hit the first on its way to the other side, so we can clear the gap. And at the same time, we also get 2 gems. The third gem is like somewhere like on the underside of this stage, so we just get that, dodge the lasers, we're out of here.
I appreciate the lava moving there.
Oh yeah, that's really fun, bouncing around.
Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
Wrong weapon. We're then gonna boost up here on this wall. Okay, gonna manip these Rackalopes. Unfortunately, this one was facing our direction, which means that we cannot really clear the gap between it and the opening above it. So we just have to go around. But that's fine. Here's the actual funky strat here. See that checkpoint up there? Yeah, we're not hitting that. But we do need the boulder. So we're just gonna push that over, throw it over, jump over the checkpoint, and then just warp back in whatever fashion the game chooses to kill us in. So yeah, that's the ending section. Get the third gem, boost up, hit the exit. Easy. Well, sometimes it's easy. Sometimes you hit the checkpoint and then you have to do that section again. Except, well, as I previously mentioned, because you hit the button, it now is harder to get back. But that is okay, because we're gonna do something even harder. See that robot? Yeah, this is for all the times you trolled us beforehand. And we're gonna fire a frog and just skip these spikes. There's like a whole puzzle section. We gotta get like another helper bird to like help clear the path for us, but nah. We're just gonna skip all of those spikes that are hell-bent on killing us. No biggie. All right, and this is the last secret, which I'm actually gonna play through. You're not supposed to play through these, but it's fun. So I'm just gonna let you see this for yourself. I'm not touching anything on the controller, by the way. There we go. This is extra content. You don't see this in an actual run.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it just kind of plays itself, and then we hit the exit. Like so.
That's cool.
Extra
That is
content
so
for you.
cool.
I thought, yeah, it's a cool secret stage. It's like the best of the bunch, I would say. So yeah, and from a very fun little stage to perhaps the most technical stage in this entire chapter, let alone the entire run. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna go down here, jump, slap in, and mash our way into the boulder, which we're gonna bring with us. Normally you're supposed to put that on the Ferdinand and then guide the Ferdinand through so that it comes down and brings the light bridge, but instead we're just gonna let that weigh us down, making us the light bridge so that we can like clear the gap. There we go. I'm just gonna go through this section by boosting through it. Do one double jump and then land in the buzzsaw because I don't know. And then just kind of ow. Okay, that did not work as planned. Okay, try that again. And just try and skip that cycle, though to be fair, I've lost more time trying to skip the cycle than I would have saved skipping it. But that's fine. So we're gonna slide under these buzzsaws miraculously. Normally, if you just like walk under them, you're just dead. But with two very well-timed slides, you just go and you're through. And then one last boost to kind of get us into the exit. So yeah, pretty technical stage, lots of sequence breaks all around.
One step closer to the exit.
We're then gonna proceed on to this stage. Gonna immediately switch to frog while we can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signs. Throw the frog down. Frog it. And then just proceed like this. Go through here. Avoid this, the cubes that are, for sure, very deadly. And then fans blow us in this direction. And there we go. Very nice. Very cool. Very good. We hit the exit. Now, 8-6, if I recall correctly, yes, that is the stage where I think the developers, once again, for their hard work in this game, we're gonna be cheesing one more of your stages. I'm so sorry. I gotta keep doing. I'm contractually obligated. Okay. I was on the wrong weapon anyway, so that's fine that I died there. I think I was gonna die anyway, so it's whatever. So yeah, let's just get the 2 gems there. We're then gonna jump through here, get the 3rd gem, and the exit's right there. There's a whole other stage. I don't know what that stage is like, because ever since I started speedrunning it 4 years ago, I haven't played through that stage casually at all.
I have so many speedruns like that where if I have to play casually, I'm like, wait, what?
That was a part of the thing?
Shall we find some sparkly gems?
Yeah, well, you'll be surprised. Yeah. So now I welcome the one and all to the final 5 stages of this game. They are filled with challenging platforming, very fun lava block boosts, and lots of jumping. But also a lot of RNG. So now, essentially, what we need to do is put that block there, which kind of makes those cycles a bit shorter. And normally, casually, you're supposed to use the helper bird once again. It's on the egg down there. But nah. Frog. We are frog fans in this household. You need to understand. One of my teachers is also like a frog fanatic, has a folder exclusively on other animals on frogs. So yeah, you can see the level of passion at play here. So yeah, onto this stage. Go for it, yeah.
I said that I can. I was agreeing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, now onto this stage, which has a bunch of RNG in a moment. Once I get to that section. So yeah, just platform this way. Oops. There we go, and that's good RNG. That is perfect RNG. And that is good. So that's not bad. Good, perfect, and good once again. Like my last practice run, which is very good. I'm not going to try and catch that cycle. I did that once. My heart cannot take another try for one day. So I'm just going to do it safe. Go for the other cycle and install on the mine bridge until I hit the exit. Yeah. And now we come to 8-9, which is perhaps the perfect capstone of the perfect capping off point for regular stages. It is challenging, it is demanding. There's boosts, there's rock throws, there's precise boosts. Ow. There's precise rock throws, apparently. I need to wait for these mine blocks to regenerate, so I just push that one boulder up. Get that second gem. Okay, and then we need to get that last little boost there. And the way that boost works is we need to get it exactly on the frame, well, more or less, that the bottom block starts disappearing, because by the time we have left that bottom block, it still has collision, but when we get to the top one, it can't bonk us because collision's gone. So it's like a very tight window that we need to maneuver to like boost upwards. And it's killed more runs than I'm willing to admit. one other thing that has killed a run at some point is the finales of this run. A very amazing run, and I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, by the way. It was...
I've had a blast watching it.
The best time.
I thank you very much. That was at least the goal here. To kind of provide something entertaining, if nothing else, for people to enjoy. But yeah. There was the one time where I had to do something in 8 Finale 2. Basically, I was like 4 seconds ahead of PB, and I just had to not choke the last stage, which once you see what that last stage is like, you'll see how did you choke that. So yeah, I choked it, and I finished dead even with PB. So that's fine. So yeah, 8 Finale 2, the last actual technical stage of this run. I thank the developers one last time for all of these stages and for making this stage like actually genuinely challenging. We're gonna be cheesing the challenge. I am so sorry. Yeah, basically there's like platforms that are alternating right and center, and you have to like time it right.
I salute you.
First
I
ball,
truly do.
Brog,
Now let's
done.
grab Hattie and blow this pop stand.
And now we get to Hattie.
Hey, Hattie, stop messing around.
Come on,
buddy.
Hattie. Come on.
Everyone's waiting for
Let's
us.
go.
Something's very wrong here. Well, if you can't
Up
carry
there's
yourself,
Hattie.
then we'll carry you for
Hattie?
you.
Well, get ready on time, by the way. It's coming in just a moment. Thank you very much for watching. Time.
GG, great run.
And so we finally made it back to the boat after a harrowing, exhausting
lovely.
adventure. I bet your dogs are barking. I mean, let's
Yeah.
face it, most
Yeah,
of that
sounds
ordeal was unpleasant
lovely.
to the point of sucking a whole lot. But
Do we
now
have
it's
time for, like,
to relax
this
in the
credit
forbidding
scene?
moonlight of yesterday's promises, whatever that means.
Okay.
And treat
All right, we can play
ourselves
this,
to a nice big
this
mug
credit
of hot
scene with a few like
cocoa. What do you
last
say,
words from me
Hattie?
after that.
But
Then
Hattie
we can
wasn't
get on
his
to the next
normal
run.
jovial
So enjoy
self
this for
anymore,
now,
children.
as I mouth it
Didn't
out,
say a
because I've
word.
memorized
He
it.
didn't even respond to hugs. Friggin' hugs. He loves hugs. But he wasn't moving. He wasn't even blinking. Where's he gone to? Where? Wiki, give me that funky beat. So now it's come to an end. We tried so hard, but lost it all. And you were my best friend. You were my Hattington. Hattington. And when you reached for help, we were too late to take your hand. But we're here now. You're the moon and we're your stars. And we're here for you as you fade into the dark. Fade into the dark. I love you, Hattie. So your best friend's a vegetable now. Blah, blah, blah. But you know what they say? When life gives you potatoes, you make potato salad. And I got just the recipe. Hit it. Buckle your pants. Buckle your pants. Pull up your socks and dance.
Everybody dance!
Buckle your pants. Buckle your pants. Buckle your pants.
That was great.
Hey, I said dance. Buckle your pants. Buckle your pants. Ladies, buckle your pants. Gentlemen, buckle your pants. Boys and girls of all ages, buckle your pants or they might fall down. Hey, you, buckle your pants. Yes, you, buckle your pants. Everybody, buckle your pants. But if you don't want to, no, that's fine.
Buckle your pants, buckle your pants, buckle your pants, or your pants will fall to the ground. Buckle your pants, just buckle them, babies, nice and tight, please. Buckle your pants, 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 buckle your pants,
R.I.P. Hattie.
Well, thank you so much for showcasing that. If anyone was interested in following, first of all, if anyone saw the run and was like, I really want to be a part of this, where would they be able to go?
Oh, well, if I wanted to be a part of this and many more speedruns that I have, twitch.tv/Pauliser is the place. I do speedruns of this, speedruns of other games. Okay, enough of that foreshadowing. It's just foreshadowing for the next game. But yeah, I do speedruns of Battleblock Theater. I do other things as well. I just, sit around, chill, have some fun speedruns. Yeah. So yeah, you can also, don't forget, you kids 200 2022. That's all. But yeah, thank you very much for having me. That was really fun. That was really fun.
That was great. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and if anyone was interested in wanting to know more about Battleblock Theater, where would they go, the speedrunner wise?
Well, we have linked our Discord server on our speedrun leaderboard, so you can just click on that. You can join our community Discord, and you can join us, and we can show you the ropes of Battleblock Theater.
Oh, thank you once again. Just a reminder for everyone out there, these Hotfix shows are brought to you by viewers like you. If you would like to have ad-free viewing, please consider using your Prime Gaming account to support the weekly GDQ Hotfix content. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, always consider subscribing to the channel or even sharing our shows on social media. And of course, speaking of our shows, we have quite a bunch of shows starting up within the next couple of weeks. And just head on over to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix and watch our Twitter for more information when they start. And of course, we do have a new YouTube channel called GDQ Some of Best Segments, launched on YouTube. It's a highlight channel with all the regular videos, like our main channel, but with small highlight reels for all the main events and hotfix. Just search for GDQ Some of Best Segments on YouTube. And we're not done for this bargain bin yet. Coming up next is going to be Superliminal, and I cannot wait to see this run. So stay tuned. Also, now's a great time to stretch, hydrate, use the restroom as you will. Welcome back to the Bargain Bin, a show about speedrunning games all under $20. I'm your host, Midnight Vesper. A couple announcements before we get into this next run. Frame Fatales, the game committee applications are now open. If you're interested, go to gamesdonequick.com to apply. And speaking of Frame Fatales, they have been selected as a finalist for the Game Her Awards. For more information and to learn more about it, you can just type in !vote in chat. And now, with that being said, let's go ahead and go straight into Superliminal, this fantastic game with Hippinator. How are you doing, Hippinator?
I'm doing quite well. I'm Hippinator, and I'm gonna showcase this game and hopefully do it well. It's gonna be hard following up on that last run. That was pretty wild. Superliminal is a 3D perspective-based puzzle game where, like, the main mechanic in the game is if you pick up an object, it'll look to you like it's the same size no matter where you look. But if you hold it like up against a wall that's really, really far away and you place it, it'll actually be placed next to the wall, so it'll become a lot larger. And mostly what we're gonna do is just be out of bounds. But yeah, let's just get into it. I'll give a countdown when we get there. Time doesn't start before we go through the first door. So let's start in 3, 2, 1, go. Luckily, the devs have given us a nice in-game speedrun timer. But yeah, we're immediately gonna grab this piece and use it to do what we call a jump launch, where we resize the object up against a wall. So it's the only thing between the wall and ceiling and you, and then you jump into it. Objects don't like when you're inside of them, so they launch you. And because there's no room between you and the ceiling, it'll push you through the ceiling and launch you out of bounds. There are 4 different types of launches involving objects, and we are going to see, hopefully gonna see 3 of them. So we're gonna do the rest of the level glitchlessly. You can do a second launch, but it's slightly inconsistent, and if you fail it, we have to restart the entire level, so it's about a minute time loss. So, coming up, we have this nice sign that the developers have been so nice to mean we can just go up and grab it and place it over the 2 buttons like that. And as you can see, like, stuff
Please
changes
stand by
size
for polite
compared to
recognition on your
how we look
completion
with
of the
them.
Somnasculpt orientation.
And obviously, if there's
You
any
did it.
questions, just
To
go ahead.
maximize the time allotted
course,
for
yeah.
your therapeutic journey, please do not delay your proceeding through
But
the
yeah,
final
we are
doorway
almost
as
at the
indicated.
end of the first level here. We just have to get to the exit. And in actuality, it's a bit down here. So going into the next level, we're going to do the second kind of launch we're going to see, which is a slide launch, where we unlock the physics of an object while next to a wall. And then we're going to push it into the wall, which will push it back into us. And then we're inside the object and we'll launch. So we're gonna need that soda again to do a jump launch in a moment, so we can skip going through the entire level. So we're not meant to be able to go over here. So that's why we needed to do the first launch. And then we're just gonna jump directly into the end of the level. Most of the levels are gonna end with us going into an elevator, which we should hopefully just land directly into. I think I'm a bit high. Nope. Just gonna land in here. Now, that's the end of this level.
Wow.
This is gonna be mostly the theme of this run. Just
Does the
launching
height, does the matter of how high you go up determine if the trick works or doesn't work?
Yeah, you can launch too low, which will result in you not getting back in bounds and having to reset. You can also launch too high, which will just generally cost time.
This is
So an
an
important
automated
thing
message
here
for all
in
patients who attempted to
in
use
modern
an
warblers,
alternate
one of the
pathway to access
big
the next
differences
stage of
between
Somnasculpt therapy,
modern
but
and
could
legacy
become
warblers that
trapped
are
in a
two
dream
warblers
state
categories
paradox instead.
is
Your
one
decisions
specific
imply a
glitch
failure
called
of
portal glitch,
orientation,
which
which
has been
reflects
patched out.
negatively on the
But
standard
also,
orientation.
it used to
You will
be
rectify this
that
failure immediately.
that the updates in the physics engine were locked to 50 updates per second. But now it's FPS dependent. And the higher the FPS, the higher you launch. And because we generally recommend running glitchless category in 60 FPS, that's also what this route has been made for. So all of the launches are different from the other category. More or less. So yeah, that's the end of Cubism. The next level, we will actually see some of the level, even if done correctly. Because it really doesn't have a lot of objects. It is the only level in the entire game that you can, well, except the last one, which you can complete without picking up an object, glitchlessly.
Hello, my name is Dr. Glenn Pierce. And
But we
despite
are gonna
turning your
again
waterfall
use
serenity
a soda
during the
to
previous
do
section
a
you've just
jump launch,
completed,
hopefully.
You may still be experiencing feelings of worthlessness
This is one
and
of the
self-doubt.
worst
Why do
launches
I
in my
feel like
opinion.
Everything is going wrong, even
So
when the
hopefully
sun
we'll
is
get it
shining.
first try. Gonna bring the soda, land here. Normally you can get enough height that you can just fly over a wall up there. It's a really high wall for some reason.
That
It's
was
just-
really
Go.
that was a really high wall.
Yeah. We don't know why it's that tall. Like it's way out of bounds. It's only just recently that I found out I can like do a backup of flying around it at the end instead.
Hello, my name is Dr. Glenn Pierce.
So,
and I'd like to talk
bringing
more
the
about
soda to
feelings
do
of worthlessness and
more jump
self-doubt
launch.
I mentioned before.
Not everyone brings the
You
soda
feel
here.
this way because you want the kind of happy
I do
life
a
you
few
see all
tricks
around
that
you.
other runners
And
don't
you
really
know
do.
everyone else is enjoying
Mostly
it.
because they're
And
easy to
that's
mess up.
exactly why we're here to help.
And some of them, if you mess them up, you lose a minute. So that's just an instant reset. But we're gonna land up on this ceiling. Not all ceilings are some you can fall through. slightly arbitrary which you can and which you can't. But yeah, that's more or less the end of this level. There's just a bit of walking left.
Did you know that unintentional
Normally I'd use time talking about the horror theme of this level, but we don't really see a lot of it. So it
That's
plays
just
with the...
paint.
Yeah, it is exactly. It's just paint.
It's just paint.
Yeah, it is just paint. The can's right there. So it just uses perspective to make people think it's horror. I've heard about people streaming the game that all they thought when it started going horror on them. So it works quite well. So coming up is the level that I do very differently from most people. Most people just do this glitchlessly because the glitches are easy to mess up and they can easily just cost more time than they save. But why not do the glitches when you can? So that's a wall that's supposed to stop you from bringing objects through it. But we kind of want that soda for yet another jump launch. Sadly, we need to bring it through 2 of those barriers, and it can actually be slightly annoying to get cans through them. That actually went way better than I had hoped for.
That's
So-
good.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. So back into black screen. So this level is about cloning objects, which we will actually see in a moment, hopefully. So one of the great things here is you can't see if you have the correct direction before it's too late. You have to really know your mouse movement. But yeah, so we have this green apple we can clone, and we're gonna use it for the third kind of launch we'll be seeing, which is a resize launch. So if we look here, you can see there's like an outline of the apple. That's because the apple will actually become the smaller size when we drop it. And for some reason, if we jump while doing that with clonable objects, it means it'll launch us. And that was a really, really good clone.
That was great.
Yeah, can't really complain. That might actually be a goal.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, yeah, that was a gold.
Nice.
So coming up, we'll have a level called Dollhouse, which I often mess up the correct direction in the start of the level, whatever reason. But we'll have the same slide launch as we saw earlier, and then we're gonna grab the end of level portal. Like, this level has a lot of objects that have portals that you use to move through, that you resize, and the thing leading up to the elevator is one of those objects. And the game has been kind enough that we can actually... There we go, got the landing. We can actually pick that up out here. There we go. That's the ending of the level, basically.
What?
Yes. So now we're done with this level. And trust me, it gets worse. Like, the last 2 levels that we're going into here are just they're even weirder.
I like the cat poster.
Yeah, that's actually one of the devs' cat.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, put in like a day before the game release. They have like a dev commentary in the game and they talk about it. But yeah, this level has like some audio triggers here, and originally we thought like we couldn't skip them, and the last one will like teleport us when it's done. But we found out that we can with some parkour skip them. But, you know, teleporting to later in the level will just make things hard. Like, see, we have the elevator right here, so we can just, you know, go into the elevator. Oh, it's blocked off. So we're gonna use some points geometry here.
Was improperly
Just
ordered.
climb into it, and it still has the end of level trigger. So we just skipped a 4-minute long level.
That's great.
And in the last level here, we start in a building, and it has the building we're inside. This we just picked up is the actual building we're inside. And we're gonna just go through there, opening the way into the building we need. And then we're gonna like go out of bounds here. And then we're gonna hopefully quickly manage to slide this into the pillar here. It's gonna take this is probably the hardest trick most people struggle with. I have to reset. I actually ended up somewhere else in the level, which like wasn't supposed to happen.
Do not have access to this dream. Diagnostic warning. Unrealistic use of dream objects may result in
come
dream
on.
integrity fail states.
So this trick can be kind of a run killer, if you couldn't guess. And is something most people really, really struggle with and might not actually do. Please. Okay, not going back in bounds this time. We're gonna land on this pillar. This level has like a spatial trigger for ending the level. So we just put the building on top of that. So time is coming on the other side of this load screen. And time.
Wow.
So yeah, it's basically just going out of bounds a lot. And thanks for making me run this again. Practicing for this, I actually beat the world record twice earlier today.
Wow, nice.
I can really recommend going into this game. Maybe not going directly into Warpless. We have a really large glitches community, and like we have a Discord with a lot of active people that really like to help. It's really good community, and there are some tutorials out there for both glitchless and modern Warpless. There's a fair amount of different categories to run by now. We just got category extensions like a few months ago, so new things keep popping up. And there's a link to the Discord on speedrun.com page. Yeah.
Wow. And if anyone was interested in following you,
Then it's twitch.tv/hippiemeter. I basically only stream Superliminal speedruns. Once in a while I go into a new speed game, and then like I play that for a month, and then I just go back to Superliminal. It's just it's an amazing game. Like,
well, thank you so much for showing off that amazing run.
thank you for having me.
That was a great run. Do want to make a couple of announcements real fast that if you missed out on this run, you need to go back, and that's where our YouTube comes into play. We got all the archives of our past runs and past shows all at youtube.com/GameStoneQuick. And wow, that was a run that even I'm gonna have to go back and watch. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to join us over at twitch.tv/GameStoneQuick to check out all of our live shows, starting most nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. And of course, while you're over there, Hotfix is funded in part thanks to your subscriptions and bits and all of that. So always consider using your Prime Gaming account to sub to this channel and support our future broadcast. Coming up here in just a second is going to be another great, fantastic run. We've had 2 great runs down. Time for our 3rd. It's going to be Hyper Light Drifter. I cannot wait to see this run. But yeah, now's a great time, well, to get up, stretch, use the restroom if you haven't already, and get ready for Hyper Light Drifter. Welcome back to the Bargain Bin, a show about speedrunning games all under $20. Midnight Vesper, your host. Before we get into this next game, Just a couple quick announcements that Frame Fatales, the game committee applications are now open. Go to GameZoneQuick.com to apply and for more information. Speaking of Frame Fatales, they have been selected as a finalist for the Game Her Awards. For more information about that, just type in !vote in chat. And of course, speaking of all our shows, we do have quite a few new shows starting up within these next couple of weeks. Head on over to GameZoneQuick.com/hotfix and watch our Twitter for information on when they start. And now, I cannot wait to see this. We have Hyper Light Drifter with our good friend Stealth Cupcake. How are you today?
I'm doing quite well.
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you I was going to do that.
Yeah, my actual screen name, as you can see, is Covert Muffin. But it's great. I'm really excited because Hyper Light Drifter has been a game near and dear to my heart for a very, very long time, like at least 4 years now. And it's an incredible indie game. It's very fast-paced, has a lot of difficult combat, and so we'll get into that. Yeah. So if we are good to get started. So this category is all modules run under the constriction of no major glitches being allowed for the run itself. So no out-of-bounds stuff and a bunch of obscure glitches that I'm not going to even name because there's maybe like half a dozen people who would know all of the instances of those in the world. And so that being said, though, for the no major glitches with all modules, this is really all bosses with some extra content slapped onto it. So it doubles the estimate versus any percent, and it has probably some of the most difficult areas, I think, in the game, especially movement-based wise. So probably going to be a bunch of spaghetti, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and I am looking forward to it. So timing is going to start right after I finish off the name here, which we'll just go ahead and name Bargain Bin. Did my best not to misspell it in front of 1,000 people. Great, okay, so we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. Great. So the other thing to mention is that we're running on the Alt Drifter, right? Because there's 4 different playable characters in the game. Normally there's a tutorial section if you play Newcomer or the normal Drifter, but we are not doing that. So we get to skip the tutorial, which is about 1 minute and 20 seconds long for us. But here in Hyper Light Drifter, it's a 2D Souls-based game, has a fast-paced movement system, which we'll be getting into after about 8 minutes into the run. But here, we are going to start off by going into north. And you can actually start by going north, east, or west. But we are going to be coming north because there is a currency that we're going to be collecting, which is going to be the fastest direction to get 12 pieces of those. And so there was our first combat-based section, which is known as an arena, where you must kill off a list of enemies before it's going to allow us to progress on to the next area. And as I'm moving around here in groupings of 3 dashes before a small cooldown happens, here is going to be our first golden bit. And you'll notice that after I collect 4 of those, that will actually end up filling 1 piece of currency. And so for that upgrade that we are going to be collecting in town, after we get 3 pieces of currency, it is going to be indeed Chain Dash, because it's the only upgrade or purchasable thing that actually ends up saving us time throughout this 1 hour category. Great, so as I'm moving around, as I mentioned, you can dash in groupings of 3. However, if I dash against ledges like that without falling off, the dash will actually end up resetting, and there I actually missed a little bit of a 1. And a really interesting thing about dash resets, as I see if I get this really difficult glitch. No, I missed it. That's okay, that's okay. So there I had to dash on the first frame I got control of the drifter. I missed it, so I was not able to reset my dashes there. But yeah, so basically if we dash against the ledge with the first or second dash, then it will actually activate a ledge reset. And this can get very particular. Some ledges don't work, some ledges have different pushback zones, so each one is going to be uniquely programmed out. I'm going to be really careful with my positioning. But here we just collected our first module, and normally we only need to collect 4 of those in each cardinal direction before heading down towards the final boss. However, for this category, we are required to collect all 8 modules in each cardinal direction. And so here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire a pistol shot right there, to aggro that enemy over. And my goal is to try and get these guys to accidentally just jump off the cliff because they're going to try and chase after me, but they did not. That's okay, that's okay. So if they fall to their death, it finished out the arena without having to spend the time to kill them and saves a little bit of time. But there, what we just collected, as I grab another golden bit there, was a green key. And so normally we only need one key for the category itself, but because it's all modules, we will actually end up collecting 3. And so here, this bit is scary as cutscene plays. As we finish a piece of currency, but don't worry about that. So here for marathon safety, I'm just gonna grab the save checkpoint. There it is. Okay, great. Because you can accidentally softlock this arena. So what I did was I actually fired a pistol shot into that arena and then dashed into the cutscene, causing the arena to happen early. And so in the arena, there are certain enemies that take time to spawn, like those ones there. And then there are certain enemies that only spawn after killing another one. So here's the last timed enemy. And here I'm going to intentionally get hit by that shot in order to skip a small animation. This is known as a twirl skip and saves, I want to say about like 4 or 5 seconds or so. Yeah, and that was discovered by Spring Sylvie, who is a pillar in the community. Great, so normally in North, we actually get a different module second because it's a lot faster to get to and has like 2 bits on the way to it. However, we're going to be taking a slower one because there are more bits along to the module, and getting chain dash is not going to save us much time. Okay, here I'm gonna, no, never mind, I missed it. That's okay, that's okay. So there I could actually beat out the crushers very, very slightly, but more times than not, it actually just ends up causing me to take a death. But we just played it safe. We waited for an additional second as we collected our second key there of 3. Whoops, okay. So there I just fell, and that's a little bit scary, so I'm going to grab this safety medkit for marathon safety. Normally I skip that one. And as you'll notice in the top left corner, you'll notice that the Drifter only has a max health of 3 instead of the max health that the normal Drifter has of 5. So there's a lot of things in this game that will end up dealing 2 damage to me, and so they can 1 to 2 shot me if I am low on health. But here's another guy, here's a bit. Okay, I'm gonna focus, because if I take a death, it'll actually end up sending me back to the beginning of this area. Actually, it sends me back to the room before it. Okay, sorry, okay. I will explain why that was really scary in a moment as I focus. Okay, I got it. Okay, there we go. All right, that was probably the scariest thing in early game for me. So here the crushers are actually on a global cycle once you end up entering the room, even if they're not moving. So it's very important that I ended up getting through those as quickly as possible in order to be able to catch those rotations at a specific cycle. Okay, 2 more enemies here in this arena. And we're at the door. Excellent. Okay. So the reason that previous room was scary as I go to do my next minor glitch, which we'll talk about later, is that if one of those big green stompy guys landed on me, I would get knocked down. And in Hyperlight Drifter, it's incredibly unforgiving because the dash does not have multiple iframes associated with it, or as you may know as invulnerability frames. You have 1 iframe in a 60 FPS game. So the dash in this game is not a dodge. So there, what I did was I either had to dash early enough to be able to get far enough away from the enemy, or I have to dash on the frame that the enemy was going to land on the ground. And because my dash was on cooldown, it was very scary, and I just barely got out of the distance before he ended up taking me down. So very glad I didn't take a death there. If I had taken a death there, I would have had to do that entire room over again, losing about 20 to 30 seconds. So very, very glad I got through that section without any struggle at all. Okay, breathe. All right. So here, coming through here, we are going to be approaching the first boss of the game, which is the most difficult boss in the speedrun overall. And is definitely my favorite boss because the bosses are one of the things I put a lot of work into. But here is another arena where I'm going to, yes, very nice, sneak in a pistol shot onto an enemy as I was dashing over. Because in this game, we can stack damage types in 2 ways. The first way is by shooting a pistol shot and dashing 1 frame later, or just like with any time after 1 frame. And then the other way is by using a primary attack a pistol shot into a primary attack. So if we do the pistol shot into a primary attack, as you imagine, pistol shot deals 1, primary attack deals 1 damage. We are able to deal basically 2 damage within 2 frames every so often. I don't remember the exact frame window. But that being said, we're going to see this a lot on this boss. This is the hardest boss of the run, so I am going to focus and let you watch. There's going to be a bunch of pink pathways and stuff moving around the screen, and I am going to be trying to manipulate those to go away from me and do a bunch of other crazy stuff. Okay, here we go. Okay, got the first one. Down, okay. Up, over, good. And we got a corner kill. Holy crap. All right, I'm sorry. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. Thank you, Vesper. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So, all right. We don't get that. We don't get that in runs. That doesn't happen in PB attempts. So like, that is just absolutely insane. It was in a bad corner because it spawned in a bottom corner, but just like getting the corner kill before it actually teleported back to the middle is, I got 2 to 3 pathway manipulations perfectly, and then, yeah, wow. I'm very proud of that. I'm sorry I don't have more time to sort of talk about that, because we are speedrunners and we must move on to the next thing, because the games are far more complex and difficult than we have time to give them justice to. But hey, here's Chain Dash, okay? So we got those 3 pieces of currency, but we still have 4 more modules to finish out in North, so we are going to be heading back to North now. And so now with Chain Dash, you'll notice a few things. The first thing is that you'll notice a thin gray bar in the top left corner of your screen now appear. And this is my stamina bar. And as long as I have stamina, I am able to chain dash. And so here I am dashing in groupings of 3. As you can imagine, the first dash of every single chain after it goes off of cooldown is still a quote unquote slow dash. That does not cost any stamina. So here in this section, we're going to see me chain dashing in really specific ways because I have memorized the pairings. 1, 2, 1, 2, hit, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Sorry, this does take a little bit of focus because it is semi-blind movement because I can't see the next part. Okay. All right. Oh no! Oh, I took the worst possible death. That's okay. That's okay.
Oh no.
That's all right. So there's a crusher there, and I was trying to get in front of the crusher itself, and I just barely ended up missing it, and that's totally fine. So here in this section in particular, we basically need to sort of go in a spiral pattern in order to unlock the next area of the room. So like this switch here, you're supposed to activate, and then you're like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to go forward. But no, indeed, the solution is actually to end up backtracking. Yeah, and there we go. And there I just beat out that crusher that I took a death to. Oh man. Okay, great. Yeah. We'll talk about that. Yeah, sorry, Vesper, go on.
I was saying, is that more of like an RNG type situation, or is it just a, luck of the draw? So I guess that's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, really great question. I messed up some dashes, so I was like really hoping the crusher would be all the way back, and it wasn't. Because I thought I was moving slower through the section than I actually was. But every single time you enter that area for the first time, the crusher cycles will be exactly the same. Every single time. Which is cool. So here I'm going to heal just because this next section I'm going to take a little bit of a risk so I can show off cooler things. And that's the really cool thing also about Hyperlight Drifter is most of the RNG really just comes from enemies themselves. But a lot of enemies like those riflemen there, their patterns can be manipulated in certain ways. So I have a finite number of patterns remaining so that I can just sort of put myself in a good position and then watch to see what they do, and then react within a few fractions of a second to be able to get my positioning perfectly and nail my dash timing presses. So a little bit more about Chain Dash in that way is we're gonna go into some other combat sections up here. So I'm gonna grab a safety med kit for marathon safety. Is when I dash, I'm going to be dashing mostly in groupings of 2, because as I was sort of alluding to, it is the most stamina efficient. So these birds here are one-hit kills on me, so I'm gonna be a little more careful there. But also, if I dash in groupings of 2, I can dash off of walls and not end up getting a bonk animation. If I dash in a grouping of 3 or more in the chain dash before it goes on cooldown, then what will actually end up happening is I will get stunned for, I forget the exact timing. It's like 1.5 seconds to 2.5 seconds. Oh, there we go. But as you saw, there are many enemies in this game that also deal 2 damage, so they can end up one-shotting me if I take a single damage in this section. But they're using the laser rifle, which we actually ended up picking up after North Boss, is going to allow me to pierce through enemies and also deal 2 damage in a line. But it costs more ammo and is not as fast for dealing damage to single targets as the pistol is. Okay, so there I took a damage, so 2 damage enemies are going to be one-shotting me, so I have to be a little bit careful. Oh, okay, that bird Sudoku'd itself, which is very nice. Okay, and then next part of this arena is 3 enemies here, and then a laser for this guy, which I missed. No problem. No problem. So the other thing about the laser, it's a very, very thin line. So I'm going to be trying and like sneaking around corners and setting up in really specific positions to be able to pierce enemies. And that's going to be really useful later on, especially. So here are 5 HP rocket trooper enemies, which can be a little scary. But because we just take them down as they're spawning in, no problem whatsoever. Whoops, up and to the right, always. Awesome, okay, and that's module 7 out of 8. This next one's probably the second scariest in the entire area, as we will see momentarily. But hopefully I make it look insanely easy. So here, as I'm dashing in groupings of 2, and sometimes in 3, dashing in groupings of 3 is a little bit faster, because every single dash in the chain dash sequence has a really precise timing associated with it. Oops, no, I did not get a dash reset. I fell again. I'm just gonna back out and heal for marathon safety. Okay, then we're gonna go up. And we were fine. We were fine. That was a really good cycle. Okay, excellent. Okay, great. North was the second scariest area in the entire run. But I did a lot of those things. And I made those look a lot easier than they actually are, which is really, really nice. And that will just definitely be a theme for this run. So besides myself for running this category, Spring Sylvie, who once again is a pillar in the community, is the other person who worked together with me to optimize it. And we're sort of like the titans in the community. We definitely have sort of the most world records between us. I, for myself, have like the longest standing world record, I believe, and in no major glitches any percent. Oh boy, as I try and focus on movement while thinking of things that have nothing to do with what I'm actively doing. But anyways, so here, oh boy, in this section is going to be a little cutscene, which is nice because our stamina is actually regenerating during that. And so you'll notice that here my stamina is low, and that is intentional by design. And here, during slower sections like this elevator, my stamina is regenerating. Whoops, I did not mean to sit there. So here's a bit of... Okay. Okay, that's okay, that's okay. That's a tough angle on keyboard and mouse. Okay, great. And so there, right, I just burnt all of my stamina in a long chain dash chain. Because you can actually infinitely chain dash as long as you have stamina and do not miss the 0.2 to 0.3 second timing window. Okay, I had to improvise there because I accidentally messed up my chains. But basically, as I'm going through every single area, I just have pretty much memorized either by muscle memory or by just sort of actual counting of exactly what type of dashes, that I'm supposed to do through a section. But as I'm doing commentary and such, I am going to be making a lot of those sort of executional mistakes. So if you'd like to see like actual really optimized play and really spaced out stuff, you can check out my run on the leaderboard, which is the current world record. Okay. Great, okay. So in this next arena, we're going to be introduced to a new enemy, which are these 6 HP plants. And so here, if I knock over one of those 1 HP plants, they actually explode after a certain amount of time on their death. And so we can actually end up spawning those enemies, but don't blink. Okay, great. So this is just sort of the showcase, a really good showcase of like how wild Hyperlight Drifter is as a speed game, because as I mentioned, the dash is not a dodge. So if I make one slight positioning misstep, one slight timing misstep on any of those dashes, a single enemy hits me, another one can just stack another damage on top of that, and I just die instantaneously. And so the real room for error in a lot of these sections is going to be really, really small and minimal. But here is another arena. Whoops, I messed that one up, that's fine. Where I'm going to take these two enemies down with the laser, but not this rifleman here. I'm actually totally okay to just wait for a little bit and then kill that rifleman in the way that I did. Instead of using that laser or 2 pistol shots, right? Because those riflemen were not a trigger to spawn some new enemies. Because they were just sort of on a timer for the next enemy to spawn. But here is another room that has global timers as I mess up, so I'm gonna have to just pay attention really quick up here, where I kill some additional enemies for marathon safety. As we make it through this room to this module. And this was one of the reasons why we picked up a single key, let alone 2 keys in North, is because if I did not do that, I actually lose a minute. Because the next possible key to get in East is not in a very nice location. Hey, great, nice, wow. Yes, excellent. So there, during the like few fractions of a section that I'm in dash, I can actually activate certain things, like that elevator. And this is known as a mid-dash activation. So as you imagine, when I start my dash and end the dash, it is very close to being the exact same distance every single time. And so, basically, like there, I'm going to try and angle my dashes in really particular fashions in order to not run up to a wall, right? Because if I dash 3 times and hit a wall, I get knocked down and get stunned in that animation. But also, for other things, it's like if I get knocked down, pushes me away from the wall, I can no longer open that door as early as possible. So all of these tiny little minutia are going through my head. And so one of the things that I've loved most about this speed game, as a movement-based speed game, is getting those positional elements. And then when I mess up, trying to improvise in order to not lose a metric bunch ton of time. And so especially at the highest level of play that you'll see out of a runner like Spring Sylvie and potentially myself, are these like various sort of nuances with improvisation especially. Okay, so here I'm just gonna take this a little slower. I am currently on 2 health. I'm gonna take out this guy because we have to backtrack through this section. As I mess a timing press. And here I am going to heal up to full, because in this arena, I have to kill all of these enemies and more as they spawn. So here, just dodging these enemies, and then, I missed that one. Okay, I have to be careful not to get hit. I'm gonna pick up this med kit and heal for safety. And then try and snipe that guy with the laser I missed, so I'm just gonna walk up and hit him. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that was okay. I've had way worse arenas. So earlier today, as I was warming up and doing practice, I found out that my mouse cursor is actually being delayed by about 1 to 3 frames every single time I move it in a direction. So I'm trying to adjust for that, and we are doing fine. Everything's okay. Everything's okay.
I will say, because this was also discussed in chat about how impressive this is on keyboard and mouse. Is that a requirement for something like this category, or could you also use a controller for this?
Great question. So Spring Sylvie, who I've been trying to shout out as many times as possible, she actually is a controller runner. So she is absolutely amazing with the movement. There are actually benefits to both. Like for instance, if I'm at the bottom of a screen before the camera moves, controller has an advantage because you can have a more optimal input for being like a straight down direction, for instance. Whereas if I'm like dragging my mouse cursor along the bottom, every single pixel is sort of more drastic on the angle. But for keyboard and mouse, there's some weird nuances with the movement, which I can talk about for a bit here, actually, as we're in sort of an auto scroller. So here, if I hold down WASD, you can notice that I can slide myself as I am dashing, right? And so with controller, this also works with analog stick movement. But for ledge resets and such, it's a bit easier if I just slide myself into the ledge using that WASD than trying to dash in very, very precise spots. Because if you're doing it based off of the dash, as we dodge some shots here, because if you, because if you do it using the dash position, you have to do both the start and end positionings. Whereas if I'm using WASD, I can just end up dashing close to the ledge and then slide myself into it to grab that ledge reset. And I've been doing these all over the place, even if it hasn't necessarily appeared like I have. It's very difficult to spot unless you're looking for it. Maybe I'll try and point out some of those. But there's a lot of other stuff like that, like especially the pathway manipulations with North Boss that I actually end up doing with those pink pathways that were chasing me around. Those were also incredibly precise with both my timings and such, because the bosses actually end up tracking your walking direction, which, as I mentioned, is dictated by WASD. Nice, okay. Okay. But the bosses, for instance, don't actually track where your mouse cursor is. Or if you're just standing still and you move around the aim, for instance, the boss will not try and anticipate that. And so a lot of the harder boss fights in the game actually are because they're anticipating where you're going to move next because of analog stick movement, right? Because it combines those two into the same thing. So mouse and keyboard can use those, but I'm the only runner who's like kind of crazy enough to go for those manipulations. So, okay. Sorry, I'm gonna focus really quick because this is not going well. Okay. That is very scary. So if I fell off once there, what would have ended up happening is I would have had to redo that entire challenge from the start of it. And so I was happy to just use a med kit there halfway through. And this is because there's a function in the game where it tries to auto-correct your dash angles and try and give you sort of like a ledge grab, just in case it's like, oh no, you don't want to dash off that ledge because you'll fall, right? Even though I know I'm not going to fall because I'm a speedrunner and I've practiced these angles multiple times, right? And the unfortunate thing with the dash autocorrect system is sometimes instead of actually helping you, it will actually autocorrect your dash to cause you to dash off the ledge. So, okay, yeah, there we go. Sorry. Once again, the chain dashes I have to really focus on because they are every 0.2 to 0.3 seconds, and if I fail it, it causes me to end up getting stunned in the slide animation as we go into another chain dash sequence there. And so you might be asking, Covert, why aren't you chain dashing everywhere in those big long chains? Okay, there's a few reasons. One is because of that bonk animation when I dash in groupings of 3 or more. The other reason is because of stamina management. So once again, as I'm dashing through, every single time I use that chain dash ability that I bought from town, it is going to be consuming stamina. And so in order to optimally move through, oh boy, throughout all of these maps and stuff, I want to be making sure that my stamina is in a really good space. And that's actually a really good example of where a dash autocorrect feature can throw you off. Funny enough. So I was just very careful not to mess that up. Okay, great. Wow, excellent. This is going a lot smoother than I had anticipated. So here is the 7th module for East. We have one more, which is going to be right after the final boss in the section. Oops, that we are going to be coming up to. Oh no, okay. Oh, I'm dead. Wow, okay, I've never taken a death there. That is actually the first time I've ever taken a death there. That's really funny. So there, what I was trying to do was trying to get high enough away from those enemies. Okay. And when I do this and when my camera's up above, these enemies are actually no longer active. But the moment that they come within the range of the camera, you'll notice that they'll actually start shooting, they'll start moving, and such like that. And so it's really fascinating that a lot of the time, if I just have good sort of spacing in that regard and management of exactly where my camera is looking, I can avoid aggroing enemies in that way. So that was a really cool usage of the laser rifle because it is a hit scan device. But if you're not familiar with like Overwatch or TF2 or other games like that, hit scan is basically the moment it casts, it will actually end up triggering all throughout the range of it, excuse me. But here is East Boss, and there what I just did was after dashing 4 times, I ended up skipping a cutscene. And so here, really funny thing about this boss is that if I stand in this location, the boss will just infinitely ground the pound for a certain amount of time. But if I'm too high, it'll actually also throw up canisters. So being high enough so that the boss can't actually hit me, but being low enough so it doesn't throw canisters, I can actually just stand in that spot and be able to burst that boss down using that plinking function by stacking the weapon and primary attack fire. Ta-da! Which is really funny and slightly disappointing when I came into the speedrun myself, because that boss was the one that gave me the most grief out of every single other boss. Okay, great. So here we picked up the shotgun. The shotgun's going to be a very important weapon, and it's going to come into play almost immediately as we are going to be heading into West, as we have collected every single module within East itself. Cool. All right, halfway there. Halfway there. So the good news about West is in any percent, it is the easiest section probably to get through consistently fast. The bad news for all modules is all of those scary sections that we skip to make any percent easier are going to be within all modules itself. So here, I messed up one of my chain dashes, so I'm gonna do 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2 extra groupings of 3 that I don't normally do. Because, once again, groupings of 3 are faster than groupings of 2, but I wanna make sure that my stamina just runs out as I hit the elevator in order to be an optimal speed dude. Okay, but here we go. Here is going to be the first module in West. We always just get this in any percent, especially. It's definitely the fastest module to grab. But now we are going to be heading to the second module in West. And in any percent, we used to actually go for this module until a runner whose screen name is Icex actually ended up picking up the game and timing out another module to swap it out with. But here, in this pink tree section, these trees have really deceptive hitboxes that are very difficult to see. But here, right when I come into the section, I'm going to do slow dashes, because when I use slow dashes, my stamina will regenerate because those do not cost stamina. But as you'll notice me doing more chain dashes, even if I stop chain dashing, the stamina is on a cooldown until I enter a new area or I've done a certain amount of time. So they're checking my health and med kits. I am on full on both, so that is excellent. So here, this arena is pretty scary, but literally walking to a bottom right corner of a transition zone for the next screen, I can actually just leave that arena without doing it itself. But here, as we are coming to the second module, that is very scary. I'm going to try and activate that switch, which is going to open up the module. And here we're going to try and burst down these enemies with the shotgun. I got one of them with a single hit. So each of those enemies can be one shot by the shotgun itself, but the shotgun spread kind of like a blunderbuss, right, in a big AoE effect with 5 tiny little bullets. I'm gonna dodge that. Oh, that guy's in the mean spot. That's okay, I can just dodge him. Okay, nice, I nailed it. All right. Okay, here's a waypoint that'll get me back health and ammo when I activate it, and also act as a fast travel location for later, as we've been teleporting to these waypoints over and over again throughout the run. But that being said, about the shotgun as well, is that there's actually a cooldown associated with the gun. And this is actually going to really come into play, once we get, I figured that was gonna happen because my dashes were off. Oh, and I fall again. Okay, this is a little scary. That'll definitely come in, especially in West Boss. So I will point that out as we get closer to the boss. Ugh, chain dashing is hard. Okay, I'm 1 hit away from death, so I'm going to come over, hit this rifleman, use a med kit to heal, and then take the elevator for safety. Because dying, as you might imagine, is a big time loss. And so the way the game in particular handles saving is you'll notice in the bottom right corner, there will actually be a save icon that appears just like, looks like there's not a save point here, but here's a really cool sequence break. I am going to stand on this ledge, and then what I'm going to do is dash to the right and then dash up. And I forget who discovered this. I think it was Mechanical Snail, who is a really, really talented runner of this game, especially. And that's going to actually allow me to skip having to go hit a switch, backtrack all the way back, hit another switch, and then be able to get access to the module itself. Okay, so coming in here in West, as we're going through, there is going to be another arena skip. And these arena skips, as I point them out, are not actually out of bounds, as I'm going to set up for difficult dash here. Excellent, first try. That saves like a second and a half, as opposed to just breaking the big crystal that's just like right underneath it. And so here, as I forgot to switch weapons, that's okay. I'll just go for a different strat. With these sections, these small crystals here take 3 damage to break. And so I can use things like the shotgun or even the laser. But yeah, here's a really good example of a dash autocorrect, right? I'm holding my mouse up and to the right, and it dashes me straight up, right? But if I'm standing far enough off the ledge and my cursor is way skewed to the right, it actually allows me to just fit through that tiny little nook, which I'm happy to slow down and pass. But if you miss that once, you fall, you take 2.5 seconds of time loss. And so it doesn't save the 1.5 seconds of just like going up anyway, right? So it's like, it's really wild, especially at the highest level of play, just how insane a lot of these little tiny movement things are actually important. They add up a lot throughout the entire run. But coming up into this next section, we are going to use the shotgun to be able to just break crystals. Just like that, right? Just like that. And then we will be using our auto attacks in certain sections where the shotgun is not going to be important for saving time in that way. Ka-chink. Okay, so there's module number 5 in West. We are going to grab 2 more before the boss, and then one more as we are going to be leaving the boss itself. So really in Hyper Light Drifter, it's really fascinating for me to hear from people who played the game normally, because a lot of people will have taken different sections in like different orders. So for me, in my casual playthrough, I actually did sort of the same route as a speedrun. I actually started in north, and then I ended up going east, followed by west. But here is a really, that's a really difficult dash chain. That's fine for missing that. And yep, there's a little bonk there. But if you follow just a thin line and start your dash at a really precise spot, you can actually make it through there to that cutscene. Okay, so here's a cutscene that we're actually going to skip by going through a tiny little lip, which was a discovery by Spring Sylvie when she came into the community. And we are going to be heading sort of into the West proper area, which is like this bandit hideout sort of a feel. Oops, all right, I got a little stuck there on that bush. That's fine. Okay, awesome. So out of the 4 cardinal sections in particular, as I mentioned, like you can do them in any order, there is a 4th. There is an area that is to the south. And the area to the south is the most difficult section. As I open this module by pulling it through a box, it's one of my favorite visual bugs in the game. And south for all modules is absolutely the most difficult as well. It has the hardest boss fights besides North boss, and it has some of the most important movement to get precise, as well as arenas. And if I get hit once in a lot of those sections especially, it will just mess up all of my timings, and it's going to be a million times more difficult from an improvisational spectrum. But there, if you see me doing groupings of 3 slow dashes, it is just to get my stamina back, as we saw there, doing another grouping of 3 that was broken up. So here, clearing these bushes will actually get me back through the section a little bit quicker, as I'm going to sit down as I'm collecting this module to instantly start my stamina to regenerate, to just guarantee I get back to 100% stamina. I think my stamina management was fine there, but it does help get to the next section a little bit quicker. So there I just attacked a single enemy once to bring me up half of an ammo bar. Oops, to the right. All right, I need 1 health kit and I need ammo. So up here is going to be West Boss, and West Boss is probably the hardest boss casually because, as we were sort of talking about earlier, whoops, ammo, it is going to be anticipating all of my movement options. So normally, in the boss fight itself, I'm just going to show this off, now I'm going to show the speed strat. As we enter the boss, right, we have to do these difficult attacks and try and dodge these attacks, right? And so when it hits me with the second attack, it deals 2 damage and knocks me down, buying itself more time to bring up the next attack, right? That death was intentional, by the way, so I can show off the speed strat. However, if I dash in a really particular way, discovered by Munchie Koopas himself, I am going to actually trick the boss into going into a later phase. And using these shotgun swaps and bursts, I'm going to take down the boss very quickly. Okay, I'm gonna focus. Perfect. Yep, flawless.
Nice.
That's it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great. So a really good boss fight is if it frees this guy and then comes over and frees this third guy. But my execution on the shotgun swaps was, I just nailed it. I just nailed it out of the park. Okay, and the reason why the combat looks easy, but it's really not, as I was talking to a speed friend, Reno, who actually recently picked up the game, is that there is a lot of hit lag within the game. And so basically, if I try and swap the weapons at the wrong time... Oh yeah, I messed up my dashes. Okay, sorry, I'm just gonna focus really quick. Okay, so this is Dogeland. All right, and we got out. Yeah, okay, great. So here, what I did was I got these dogs here just stuck on this tiny little part of the tree, and this one got past. But basically, after I activate the module, they can't attack me. And so if I use really precise movement, I don't have to take down as many dogs. But I messed up there, so I had to take down a few extra ones. No problem, no problem. I am perfectly fine improvising. Oops, wrong weapon. That's okay. Okay, so here's a little cutscene. There's going to be some lag here. So I just slow down my dashes, and I'm going to try for one more trick here. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so there, if you actually end up firing your shotgun during a slide animation, gives you a burst of speed and causes you to go even further. And this is only useful in sections that is not important for, oh yeah, whoops. Okay. Is not important for ammo management. Okay, so here, I'm gonna do play-by-play because this is coming into the second hardest part of South. And that was not it. It is this next upcoming room. So I'm gonna fully heal here and focus. So here I'm gonna try and get a really specific cycle. I'm on 1 HP. I missed the kill on that guy, so I missed the cycle. Okay, I'm gonna have to improvise here. It's not over yet. There's no save there. Okay, we're good. Okay, I got the backup cycle. I'm on 1 med kit, so I will grab a safety med kit here. And grabbing that save. Okay, great. So as we mentioned is that crushers are on a global cycle whenever you enter a room. And so there is this part where you can actually get a cycle earlier on that. But I missed the cycle, so I had to just make sure that I hung back for a bit. I think I missed 2 cycles, actually. Okay, so here's the next boss. As I switch weapons during this cutscene. And this boss is the second easiest boss in the run. Because he just stands in the middle for a while, and you can just shotgun plink him down. But there, I actually messed up my shotgun plinks and pulled out the pistol and attacked him once with the pistol, right? And so, like, hit lag on bosses can cause inputs to be dropped. And so every single enemy, and certain enemies based on the biome and based on the screen in the biome are unique in the amount of hit lag that they end up generating. Also, hit lag varies between animations that the bosses are currently doing. If they're not doing an animation, it's a different amount of lag that's associated with it. There's a lot. And so I am doing my best to be careful for keeping track of that, but especially in a marathon setting, where I'm trying to do a million other things at once as I dodge an attack there. Okay, great. I'm on full health, but I need this medkit. I'm missing 1 ammo. Okay. I'm just saying these things so I remember. Oh, whoops. But yeah, so I have to I have this encyclopedia brain of oh, this enemy on this screen will cause my inputs to be dropped. And if you try and plink them, you have to do frame perfect plinking, so exactly 1/60th of a second apart. Otherwise, the melee attack doesn't happen, right? And yada, 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 right? So there's all these nuances in this game, especially for the combat itself. Okay, so up here, I accidentally went the wrong way. My brain went to any % brain, but this is actually fine. This is not a time loss for the run itself. Okay, there I'm gonna take out that green enemy, which is called a Dirk in the code. And I'm going to come up here. So here, using the shotgun to knock back that robot enemy into those explosive barrels causes the explosive barrels to go off and deal the damage necessary to be able to take down that robot enemy, one of the Dirks, and a second robot, which is really cool. If you don't actually hit the robot with at least one of the shotgun pellets, it will actually not get knocked back far enough, which is really, really cool. Okay.
So you said you kind of had an encyclopedia for all this knowledge in this game. How long did that take to learn?
So I am somebody in general who likes to really sort of dip into mechanics and stuff like that. But it's been a process. We've learned new things as years have gone by, especially in the game. There's been a lot of runners, way too many to name out, but Sylvie has been really instrumental for me to be able to work with. We've spent many nights in direct messages over Discord, just talking and theory crafting and measuring things out frame by frame and stuff like that. But yeah, there's been many other people in the community that have really helped out in that regard as well throughout the years. But anyways, here is Archer as a boss. This is probably the hardest boss fight for people learning the speedrun and the second hardest boss fight in the run. Okay, that's bad. That's really bad. I'm going to back off and heal. We're going to take 2 phases. Okay, I had to improvise there, but I did a good job of doing that. So this is actually really scary because I'm only on 1 med kit. So I am going to do a different order here. Yeah, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do here. Because there's a med kit there. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I am going to improvise and completely change my order for the rest of the run. So normally we do Archer last, grab the monolith, do dash challenge, which is unlocked by activating this monolith for the final module, and then we go back to town. But instead, I'm going to go to dash challenge now because there's a safety medkit there, and then I'm going to do a different boss fight because there are actually 3 bosses in South for more safety medkits, and then I will go to the scariest section to cap out the run. Okay, so I'm actually going to, this is really funny. I'm actually going to go backwards to reset my position to a pixel. Okay, it's messed up. All right, it's a little scuffed. Let's try it again. I have to wait for some stamina here. Okay, there we go. I got it. All right. That is so weird, not doing that from the barricade. Oh man, that is so weird. Okay. Man, so something to be said about speedrunners is that even if I hadn't derusted this game 2 weeks ago and been practicing, I probably could pick up and finish potentially under estimate. I actually have no idea. I don't want to know, by the way, also how close I am to the estimate right now. But there's just so much to the game that just comes in from muscle memory and routing in particular. And so that's bad. Some of the hardest parts in the game is to be able to sort of improvise and change your route on the spot. I think I know of a safety thing I can do up here. Yeah, I got it. As long as I don't die there. Yeah, I got it. Okay, now I'm on full health, full medkits. Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay, full ammo as well. Good. All right. Here's a tricky dash place. Great. So for like marathon performances and stuff too, I often just find myself in these really quirky positions where I have to like do something that I've never done, right? Because as you're going for PB attempts and stuff like that, you can imagine that I'm going through the same route hundreds and hundreds of times. And so even changing one tiny little element, yeah, so there I got a dropped input because of hit lag. You can imagine that it can be just like incredibly mind befuddling. But here, this is the 0th easiest boss in the run, which is what I like to say. Because what we're going to do instead of fighting this very difficult boss fight is I'm going to walk back up and then dash down in time to cause those barricades to raise up, causing the boss to fall to its death. Because if a boss falls out of an arena, it just dies instantaneously. It doesn't matter how much health it has, right? Whereas if I fall off, I lose like all health. And there have been bugs with other bosses that have caused them to fall off. I've had it with Archer. I've had it with East Boss. I'm trying to think if I've had it with any of the other bosses. But yeah, this is great. I'm having a ton of fun. And most of the other sections have been going pretty well. But here is now going to be the hardest part of the entire run, until I teleport back to town. So here, what we're going to do to start off with, so I'm going to burst that first enemy down. Hiding behind this pedestal will actually stop those mechanical robots from being able to hit me. Then coming down here, I am going to come up to this door, activate it, dash up, and try and activate this module, nice, before these enemies are able to get to me. Then, after the game saves from collecting the module, I'm gonna quit out to the menu, reload the save, causing those enemies to go back to their spawn positions, allowing me to get through there without having to worry about any of the enemies. But if any of the enemies hit me as I'm trying to activate it, then it cancels out that activation and I have to try again from nil, or I have to basically take them out. Okay, great, I got that shot there. Okay, we're good. So there, standing a very particular distance off the ledge, I am able to dash off that ledge and, ooh, sequence break. Here, I'm going to clear out those enemies because we have to backtrack through this section. Oops, I missed my chain dash chain there. It's fine. Okay, and it's not over yet. The game has not saved in about, I want to say 15, 20 seconds or so. Okay, I'm gonna dash to dodge that. Pistol shot that guy's rocket in front of his face, and then come over here to activate that pylon and dash up into this module. And it is not over yet. It's not over yet. We're about, I want to say 2/3 done with this section. Okay, getting to the module is definitely the hardest part, but notice how many enemies are stacking here. If I die, if I fail this at all, then this pathway would despawn, causing me to have to go all the way back. But if I am able to get up here, I will save the game by hitting this checkpoint trigger and be back at full health with 2 health kits remaining. We are looking very good to be able to close this out. Okay, luckily that... Okay, those cancels them out. All right, we're good. We're fine. Everything's fine. So here, what I'm actually going to do, as I mentioned, is that I'm on 1 health, so let's heal because there's a Dirk up here. Yep, he canceled that door activation. As I mentioned, arenas require a list of enemies to be taken down before allowing you to be able to exit said arena. So there, funny enough, is that all of those enemies were not actually required to exit the arena, right? It was just that like left pack of Dirks as well as like the rocket troopers and the riflemen. Okay, but here is going to be the second to last boss. This is Bullet Baker, and I think the 3rd hardest boss in the run. Okay, so here we go. Great fight, great. So I lost a lot of inputs there to just like hit lag, but I was able to improvise, get enough ammo back, recenter myself for activating the shotgun, and then go in and take the boss down. That was excellent. It wasn't clean, it wasn't pretty, but it was excellent. All right, and that was the hardest part of the run, just getting through the last like 2 minutes. Oh, thank goodness. All right, we got through there. Okay, and now we have collected 8 modules north, 8 modules east, 8 modules in west, as well as south, and we are ready to head down to the final boss itself. So as I'm heading down, I'm going to give a few shout-outs to the community. I want to shout out to Munch Koopas and Fur, who are the other people besides me to have performed Hyper Light Drifter for a major marathon. So like ESA and GDQ, all 3 of us did GDQ runs. I recently did one for ESA, which was excellent. And I also want to give a shout out to Aurorius, even though he may not admit it. He definitely was a pillar in the community early on for optimizing boss fights with myself, as well as other people in the community. I also want to once again give a major shout outs to Spring Sylvie, who recently went on hiatus, and but when she came in, like, I had been pretty much uncontested in this game with whatever category that I wanted world record in, until Spring Sylvie ended up joining the community. And she's just been an absolute delight and a titan and a really brilliant person to work to optimizing this game even further. And I think, like, since she's joined the community, she's found something like, I want to say like 30 plus seconds in no major glitches alone in any percent to optimize it, after like the game had not seen a 5-second optimization in years. But here in the final boss itself, there's going to be 3 phases, and it has a bunch of space filling effects and space filling attacks, and we are going to be seeing none of those. So here, standing in the corner is an important manipulation. It causes 3 of the enemies to all just come in. There's the final boss, and time is going to be coming up when the screen fades to black, so get ready on time. And time. GG.
Wow.
What was it? What was... All right, that's not bad. I'll take that for an RTA. I think my record run RTA was a 51 something, so that's only 3 minutes lost. That's actually not bad at all. I'll take that. I'll take that.
That was a great run to watch.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, Hyper Light Drifter has been close to my heart. Major thanks to Alex and Teddy, who are developers. They actually are currently working on a new game called Solar Ash, which is set to launch in December for the first time. I believe it's going to be on Epic for PC, as well as be on PlayStation and Xbox as well. But yeah, like Teddy and them have been awesome for the community itself, as well as everybody else in the community. And so if you're actually interested in trying out the speed game, this is a speed game that I suggest to people who have never speedrun before, or who are looking to try and get into combat or movement-based speed games itself. I actually just recently redid the No Major Glitches Any Percent guide, which has been updated and uploaded to speedrun.com. So if you go to speedrun.com/HLD/guides, you'll notice that there is a Hyper Light Drifter No Major Glitches guide by Covert Muffin, me, and that is excellent for beginners. It has a slightly different route that is about 20 seconds slower than what the #optimal is, but I would suggest everybody besides maybe 4 people in the community use that route anyway. Yeah, cool.
Wow. And then thank you so much for giving the shout outs to the entire community throughout the entire run. If anyone was interested in following it, where would they go?
Sure. So I am, if you I guess maybe I should have said some things in that regard. I've done a bunch of GDQ performances. I'm Covert Muffin. You can go to GDQ VODs, is a great place to hunt down those GDQ submissions, or go over to GameSense Quick's YouTube channel itself and look those up. But if you want to see me, I stream speedrun stuff mostly whenever I get to streaming. I'm not like a professional streamer, but that is at twitch.tv/covert_muffin. And then my YouTube's Covert Muffin 1, and I'm sure if you Google me, my Twitter and everything else will come up.
Well, thank you so very much for that amazing Hyper Light Drifter run. Any final words you'd like to say?
Yeah, of course. Thank you folks so much for allowing me to showcase this off. I love GDQ Hotfix so much, especially for spotlights like this. So thank you so much, Vesper, for reaching out to us. And I was glad to be able to represent our wonderful and awesome community here tonight. So thank you.
Of course, and I was so glad to get to see that run. That was worth every second. Just a quick little announcement real fast. Since we're talking about the Hotfix shows, these Hotfix shows are actually brought to you by viewers like you. If you would like to have ad-free viewing, always consider using your Prime Gaming account to support the weekly GDQ Hotfix content. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, always consider subbing to the channel or even sharing our shows on social media. And don't forget, tomorrow is the first step with Back 4 Blood. That's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern. I can't wait to see that particular show. While the bargain bin is done for the night, we are not done here on this particular channel. We have speedruns from the Crypt coming up. They have a fantastic lineup coming up next. Can't wait to see it. This is a great time to stretch, get some water, use the restroom, and be prepared for spoopy times with Ecdices and speedruns from the Crypt.